And a very, very warm welcome to the Kerava National Cricket Ground here in Finland for the first of today's fair in this triangular Nordic Cup featuring Finland, Norway and Denmark. This morning, first up, it's the hosts Finland against Denmark A. And we are awaiting the arrival of the teams on the pitch. I say the arrival of both teams on the pitch because we are going to have a rather special little ceremony this morning to mark quite an occasion for one of the Finnish Bears players. We'll explain a little bit more for you in just a moment. This is a T20 game, not a T20 international, hence Denmark sending an A team. Finland yesterday got the tournament underway against Norway and probably want to forget their evening out here at Kerava last night, where they were thumped by 97 runs by Norway, having been bowled out for just 74, chasing 162. Anyway, so we're awaiting the teams. The Finnish Bears in the blue and black, and Denmark all in red. The two teams lining up on the boundary edge. Alongside me in the commentary box this morning, for now anyway, is Andrew Armitage, who I'll introduce as being the first ever player to represent the Finnish national squad way back when radio even was still in black and white.
Time of the dinosaurs. The year 2000.
2012, 24 years ago. And the reason we're mentioning the first person to represent the Finnish national team is because one of those who's probably the most illustrious representative of the Finnish national team over the last decade or so is going to be playing his final game for the Finnish Bears today, and that's why the two teams are presently going to give Nathan Collins a little ceremonial welcome on the occasion of his final match for the Finnish Bears. We'll give you plenty of Colo's statistics throughout this commentary, but fair to say, I think that he's probably been the most illustrious servant for the Finnish national team. The Australian, who until this season was, of course, the captain of the Bears for many years, and he stood down at the start of this season. Amjad Sher, the new Finnish Bears captain. And we're just running down that list, Andy Armitage, alongside me. You are number one on that list of representatives for the Finnish national team, and Colo was given cap number what? Do we remember?
60.
60
Yep.
out of how many?
I think we are approaching, I don't think we've updated for the new caps yet for this weekend, but we are currently at 90 something, which I'll check later. So we're approaching the ton. And yeah, thank you for mentioning me. It was back in the year 2000 actually, so
Who was
time
that
of the
against?
dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'll tell you, when radio was black and white. When
We played at that time in what was called an ECC European festival, which was 50 overs, and we played against, it was in Austria, and we played against Austria, Norway, Sweden, Portugal, I think, were the teams that were there. There may have been others.
Do you remember much of the century you made that day?
Mostly skipper bowler, but
As we watch now, a little guard of honour for Nathan Collins, who's going to come out to open the batting for the Finnish Bears, who incidentally won the toss and have decided to bat. And the Danish and Finnish players, you can see, raising their bats in honour of a true servant of European associate cricket. And I wonder what his emotions are now.
yeah, let's hope he's not put him off.
Yeah, it's always the thing, isn't it? You give players a big send off, and it goes one way or the other. Let's hope it goes for the positive on this occasion as he walks out to bat with Arib Kadir. So just to remind you, Finland won the toss and have decided to bat on this lovely June morning here in Kerava. We're about 20 minutes drive or so from the centre of the capital, Helsinki, and it's a warm welcome to all of those of you who are listening and watching us on YouTube, the Cricket Finland feed. Another game, 2 games to come up later on today. Finland will be in action straight away after a quick turnaround for lunch after this. They'll then take on Norway to try and avenge that hammering they faced yesterday. And then this evening at 6 o'clock, Denmark back on the field against Norway. 3 more matches to come tomorrow. We'll tell you about those forthwith. So Finland will, unlike yesterday, set a target, hopefully, rather than chase as they did in a rather messy fashion yesterday. Let's hope a new slate, but it's a gorgeous day. It's cool, but it's bright sunshine, slight breeze going across the ground from right to left as we look from our commentary box, which is at the residential end of the cricket ground here in Kerava. 17 degrees we're expecting in the next hour or two, probably topping out at around 18, 19. So not too warm, but bright sunshine and no sign of any rain whatsoever. I'll just go through the team for you. Arib Kadir, Nathan Collins, as we've mentioned already, plenty. Aravind Kumar, Mehdi Abbas, Aravind Moyan, Jonathan Scamans, Sher and Dandapani, Pavan Karunaratne,
Humayun Kabir,
Amjad Sher, the captain, and Mohammed Hasnat. So a few names missing from the team that took the field for the T20 International against Norway yesterday, but they, I'm told, will play a part in the T20I against Norway again later on in the day. So a few debutants as well, Andy, today for Finland.
Yeah, we've looked at this as when we concluded quite a few months back that the Danes were going to be playing a series with Jersey at the same time in Copenhagen over this weekend. Good luck to them. And coming here with an A-side, so that also gives us the opportunity to try a few extra players that are on the verge of getting into the Finnish team. Some of them not yet in the eligible column, as in they can't officially play for Finland, but are part of the squad. And the 4 gents that are playing for the first time for Finland with a Finland shirt on today is Mehdi Abbas, Pavan Karunaratne, Mohammed Hasnat, and Humayun Kabir.
We'll go through the Danish lineup for you in just a moment, but I can tell you that Shakil Zeb is the one who's going to be opening the bowling from this residential end to get us underway in a moment or two, just slightly behind schedule because of that little rather nice little ceremony for Nathan Collins, who, as we say, is playing his final game for the Finnish Bears in a career which has spanned, what, about 8 years now we make it. 2016, we think, his first official international for Finland, as Zeb prepares to get us underway. Right arm over, 99 on his back, and immediately the Finnish Bears are off the mark as Kadir swats him into the onside, and they're going to come back for a couple. So a nice positive start. We are, I don't want to tempt fate here, but since 2016, Nathan Collins has amassed 83 runs,
yeah.
I beg your pardon, which means that even with my rudimentary maths, as Zeb comes in again, oh, and he's beating Kadir this time, little fish outside the off stump, not very positive. With my rudimentary maths, I make that around 17 runs. Then to make 1,000 for Finland, and wouldn't that be a milestone for him to accomplish?
As you say, don't want to tempt fate. I did that a couple of times yesterday as well, so I'll keep quiet.
Here's Zeb then, third ball of the over. Short, and it's swatted up in the air towards mid-wicket. This should be a catch. It is. It's taken. And Kadir looking to be aggressive. It was a lifting delivery which got high on him, and he really didn't get through the pull shot at all. Slightly bent arms and onto him a little quicker than he expected, and it was a good diving catch in the end at mid-wicket, and the Finnish Bears lose their first wicket after the third ball. 2 for 1. Kadir gone for 2.
Another wicket in the first over, which is obviously not what was planned. Certainly looking to try and set a base here today after yesterday's experience against Norway. But yeah, it's a good ball. I think he'd obviously given him the fuller one first ball that he'd pumped through mid-wicket, mid-on region, and then beat him with the second, and then set him up, didn't he, really?
Yeah, he did. It was onto him a little quicker.
Yep.
He's a big lad, is Zeb, and yeah, you're right. He set him up a little bit there with a couple of fuller ones, and then that one just back of a length, which crept on him a little bit. Anyway, number 16 comes to the wicket now. Aravind Mohan. Collins yet to face a delivery.
Mohan, another experienced player from the Finnish senior squad.
What's Zeb going to tempt him with this time? Again, slightly short of a length. He lets that one go. 2 left in the over. See this, the umpires signalling. Umpires today, then, Andy. We should give them a shout out.
Just checking which
in a
ones.
moment. Yeah, we've got a little pool of them. We'll give you their name check at some point in the near future. The Zeb runs away from us again to Mohan. Oh, and again, a little fish outside off stump. He's got a little bit of pace here, Zeb, and looks like he's taking the ball away from the right-hander. He's a big lad.
Yeah, he's a unit, isn't he? Looks like he's got a nice little change of pace. That effort ball, the last, the one to Kadir, and then that one to Mohan. Quite clearly, a little bit more effort in that. Just getting through it quicker.
He's in again, Zeb. This one down the leg side though, and a little flick. Doesn't get anything on it. Through to the keeper. That'll be called a wide, and we'll have one more for the over. Yeah, he's well built, Shakil, that's for sure, as he runs away from us now. Not too much of a stride in his gather, but all arm. That one again tempting Mohan outside off stump. A little fish, which luckily for him gets nothing on it, and it's through to the keeper. End of the first over then, and Finland 3 for 1, having won the toss and decided to bat. The Danish team then, Saran Aslam, Turner Tor, who's the wicket keeper, or Tor Turner, who's the wicket keeper, Rizwan Mahmood, who's the captain, and Musa Mahmood, Lucky Malik, Aidan Ahmed, Bilal Ahmed, Shakarullah Safi, Simon Sorrents, and Shakil Zeb, and Mustaqim Aslam. They have named a 12th, 13th and a 14th player. Finland have 2 reserves, 12th man and a 3rd man. Asad Ijaz and Farooq Zeb for Finland. Adam Lee, Salah Khan and Brian Chart, the spares for Denmark.
Just a couple of additions to that as well. I think Adam Lee flew in last night from Manchester, so a Dane in Manchester, and Brian Char is originally from Zimbabwe. He's their player coach for this weekend.
Okay, Sorensen opens up with a bit of an untidy leg side wide. Much smaller boundary to Collins' onside, it looks like, although it isn't really. It's just down the hill from our commentary position. Always makes it look a little shorter than perhaps it is, as the next ball is defended by Collins. You just want to see himself in. He's done it a number of times. I'll tell you exactly how many in a moment in this career of his. The next one he just dabs into the onside and takes a quick single to get off the mark in his final international match, which is by my reckoning since 2016 the 35th match that he will have played in the Finnish Bears jersey. As we said, 983 runs in that time, 984 now, a high score of 79, averaging a shade under 32, which is pretty good going, and a strike rate just over 100 at 102 with 9 50s, so pretty decent statistics.
Yeah, I think we can safely say that Colo's been the bedrock of the Finnish top order since 2016-2017 seasons. That's the 2018 was the qualifiers in.
Sorensen beating Mohan with that delivery.
2018 in the Netherlands was basically the start of the new era, and by that the T20 World Cup cycle being a 2-year cycle, and not long after that then all of the associate countries being given T20 international status as well. So
here's Sorensen, tall bowler, nice upright action, lovely action. He beats again Mohan outside the off stump, fishing for it again. Foot wasn't quite to the pitch there, and we're not directly behind the bowler's arm, although of course we do have the feed that you are watching. But there's been a lot of that already, already only in the second over. A lot of fishing and missing outside the off stump from the Finnish Bears players as Sorensen comes in again. This time he's slower ball and his radar's all wrong.
Yeah.
Down the leg side for a wide.
I was just going to say, how did it flick his pad?
The red helmet looks very much like a ball, doesn't it, behind the keeper?
Yeah, just spotted that now as well.
I just thought a balloon had blown onto the pitch or something. As Sorensen is in again, and he's forward to this one. Mohan pushing it out to extra cover, but no run. They thought about it, but weren't tempted in the end. Some more stats for you on Nathan Collins. I've got all his innings here, thanks to the wonder that is ESPN Cricinfo.
Which we're all live scored on as well this weekend, just as I mentioned.
Sorry?
As an aside, we're being scored on Cricinfo this weekend as well.
Absolutely. You can see all the details and the cards of the match yesterday and all today's and tomorrow's games on ESPN Cricinfo. That Bible of cricket statistics. We've got all of his innings here and all of his modes of dismissal as Zeb starts the second over. Finland 5 for 1 after 2. And just trying to tot up opposition here. Denmark's played quite a few times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th appearance against Denmark for Collins, who's on strike now. This one's short and he has a little swish at that one outside off stump, gets nothing on it. And they're just struggling at the moment to get into any kind of rhythm, Finland, but it's been a good opening salvo from this pair. Zeb chunters away from us. This one is just defended by Collins. And no run.
You can see the value here of tight bowling early on. It's obviously the power play, and the batters want to try and get on with it, and the Danes have not really given them much other than that first ball, which was in the slot to be hit through for 2. Then there's not been a lot on offer otherwise, has there?
Yeah, this one just moving away from Collins a bit, planting his foot and having a bit of a swish. Again, beaten outside the off stump as the keeper gets a little bit of attention for a bootlace. Just going through these statistics between 2019 and 2023, these are T20 internationals, official T20 internationals, and not just representative games for Finland. As he gets hold of this one, down to third man. It's only going to be a single, though, to take him on to 2. Only one occasion has he come in not as an opening batter, which was the last game.
They've even got that in there as well, in the stats, wow.
Which was the last game he played, I understand, against Sweden.
That was in Copenhagen last summer, last May.
Came in at number 4.
Okay. Just looking there as a power play field setting, they've got a deep third man and a deep mid wicket. Mohan swishes again at another one. That's a couple of times he's done that.
Yeah, they've got a he's got a very consistent line and length going as Zeb now, finishing his second over. Very impressive, 2 overs, and just 1 wicket for just 4 runs. So Finland after 3, 6 for 1, and struggling at the moment. That match then, so look, highest score in T20 internationals. I make it 79 against Estonia. And then 64 not out against Sweden. I haven't got the dates of those as Sorensen continues. Full delivery. That one's driven nicely, stopped in the covers, because that was past him for 4 runs if he hadn't have got a hand on that one. So that's more like it, but just a slight stray in length there from Sorensen, offering a low full toss for Collins. He'll be disappointed he didn't make hay with that one.
Same field out as the previous over, so
yep.
3rd man back and deep mid-wicket.
This is a revert to type for Sorensen, and Collins just happy to dink it into the onside for a single. Which takes him to 3. Sorensen to Mohan. Oh, again, it's a little fish outside. He's either it's betwixt and between here at the moment. He's not quite sure whether to go forward or come back, and he might want to consider taking half a pace outside his crease, perhaps, just to try and negate some of this movement. So it's a little struggle at the moment, but early days still into the 4th over. Sorensen Fuller, that one is driven, but again, not with any great conviction. It was a bit uppish as well, and it was one of those tentative front foot pushes where you feel they're not quite in the groove yet.
Maybe a result of facing 8 dots before it as well. I think it's on his mind at the moment, no doubt. He's going to feel that he wants to get off the mark.
Yeah, you go searching for it. This one's a better one though. That's gone over towards the covers, and the 10th's over on the deep mid-wicket boundary. That one strayed just a little bit shorter, and well, he got his positioning all right that time, and he could free his arms, Mohan, and he's put that one away beautifully. So the first boundary for the Bears is up in the 4th over.
Maybe today's the day for me then. It's a turn of fortune. As I happen to mention that he wants to get off the mark, and then he pumps it over mid-wicket for 6. That's fair enough.
Yeah, it was a very
lovely shot.
It was beautiful, wasn't it? Very sort of languid.
Yeah. Languid's a good word for Aravind, actually. You know, we see that it's languid. He plays the same shot over extra cover as well. It's absolutely beautiful to watch.
Yeah, he's quite an elegant batsman, that's for sure. Stands very tall.
Another recent PhD in the team, no less.
I know.
A few of these doctors we have these days in the squad.
Yes, we're not short on brains in some areas. In others, perhaps.
No comment.
No comment.
Putting my official hat on and not my commentator's hat. But yeah, no, you're right.
Here's Sorensen again then. Oh, and again, he's just back to the blueprint. Fishing for it outside off stump, but it's a good comeback. Is he called a no? I thought he called a no ball. No, he's just handing his cap. End of the over then, and 13 for 1 Finland after 4. So Norway against Finland this afternoon after this. So that begins at 2 o'clock. Well, we expect this to finish around 1, so it's going to be a quick turnaround for Finland. They're going to have to be careful how much they stuff themselves with at lunch, although we expect probably the team to change quite significantly.
Yeah, there's quite a few changes for the second match. Most of the players down here first thing this morning as well, so supporting each other. It's part of the squad development that we've got going on, and obviously giving more guys experience of international cricket as well, which is always useful. But I think just a bit of background on that as well. The original plans for this event were going back to August, September last year, and at that moment in time we were still looking at having the possibility of Sweden and Estonia joining as well. So originally the plans were that this was going to be an event over 3 days at 2 grounds, at the other ground in Tikkurila in Vantaa. So we've ended up with 3 teams and squeezed the schedule a little bit so that the Norwegians and the Danes can fly out on Sunday evening.
Aslam is the new bowler. Mustaqim Aslam. This is not Saran Aslan, who is slated to open the batting. So first change for Denmark.
I'm gonna bring up the over by over after this over.
Aslam is wearing 16 on his back with a pair of black cricket shoes. And Collins defends that one. Not a fan of black cricketing shoes.
No, me neither. Only black cricket shoes in the commentary box.
Yep. It almost looks like, I always just get the feeling it looks like you've forgotten your shoes, doesn't it? Your cricket boots.
Yeah. And if they are regular training shoes, then he'll be sliding around in this outfit. It's pretty slick and sharp out there today.
Collins goes over mid-on, and he's looks plugged. To not quite got all of that, and it just digs into the surface a little bit, and they come back for 2, but he didn't quite get hold of that.
Just looking at it from this angle, Richard, as well, it's almost like Lords, isn't it? You can see that there's a...
Oh, I mean, this is like Lords on so many fronts, isn't it?
I remember back in the day when we started the planning for this, it was Lords that I was showing them pictures of when the local neighbourhood then didn't know anything about a cricket ground.
Here's Aslam. Collins just defends into the offside, but no run. Well, you know, in terms of the commentating and media facilities, I mean, there's barely any difference between that futuristic spaceship at Lords and our shed here.
We should maybe think of putting one up in the care of a weather tower. That could be an idea. Media centre up there, I think.
That'd be a marvellous view, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Anyway, you were going to say it's a little like Lords. You can tell me in a moment after this ball from Aslam.
There we go.
Which Collins gets hold of and carts over point for a boundary. Takes him to 9, and he really did get hold of that one. Just stepping on the gas a little bit now, Finland, which is good. They need to. 19 for 1 in the 5th. A little wide and full.
Just moving his long on back. That's the other.
Third man's coming up.
Third man's coming up. So you got the other man out. He's on deep mid-wicket. He's keeping his deep mid-wicket field.
So expect a fuller delivery perhaps here. No, he chops this one again, but only into the ground and behind to the keeper. No run. End of Aslam's over then. 19 for 1. Finland, and Collins playing his final game, just to remind you, for the Finnish Bears. He's not out on 9, so he's crept a little closer to that 1,000 runs for Finland since 2016. And the Manhattan, you'll see, just going up on the screen now, which tells you the story, really. Slow start, but the last couple of overs, we've seen a gradual increase in scoring rate for the Bears, and they'll have to go some from here on in if they're going to post a competitive target. But after yesterday's scare and disappointment against Norway, being bowled out for 74, you can imagine that there's a fair amount of consolidation perhaps uppermost in their minds today. Now then, another change of bowling here. I think we've got Bilal Ahmed.
Yeah, I was just about to say the spin coming on, but
no, they're going all pace, aren't they? All seam.
Yeah, the keeper just got his went to collect his lid and then realised that it wasn't a spinner.
So Bilal Ahmed coming in right arm over, and this one's down leg side, well taken by the keeper, but it's a wide.
Slingy.
Slingy indeed. He's in again. Oh, he's bowled him. Mohan went for the big one over the cow corner area, but it kept a little low, it seemed to me, unless he got a bit of an inside edge on it as it went through, and he's just cleaned up his stumps. The Zing bails and Zing stumps light up, and Mohan, I'm afraid, has gone. So the Finnish Bears lose their second wicket, 20 for 2, bowled by Aftab for 6. It was a
6 and out.
Yeah,
almost. Yeah.
it really was, wasn't it? Because that was his only scoring shot, the maximum over deep mid wicket. Here we got coming to the crease now. Abbas, looks like.
Yep.
Number 40 on his back, one of the debutants today. Coming in to join his former skipper, but of course as a debutant he won't have played under Nathan Collins as skipper.
One of our new additions to the squad literally this winter.
So tell us a little more about him. Where's he been recruited from?
He's currently playing his cricket at the SKK club, who play in the Finnish Premier League, and had a look at him already then last season, and he was involved in our winter camps at the Erikila Sports Institute this winter.
Small in stature, and the first one is turned off his pads, perhaps into the onside. Is he going to signal a leg bite? Yes, he is indeed. So he's not quite off the mark, but it's another to the total.
Busy little player. It's he tends to pretty much play 360.
How old would he be? Roughly? Youngish?
Yeah, let me come back to you on that one. I've got the stats on that somewhere. But yeah, youngish, at least in our terms.
Yeah, most people are. Aftab again is into Collins, who's attempting to nurdle that into the onside, but again takes high up on the thigh pad, and they go through for another bye. So the slingy action of Aftab. Just back of a length the last couple of deliveries. Both batters trying to play the same sort of shot into the onside, and only succeeding in taking byes, but at least they're runs as far as the Finnish pairs are concerned. The next one is a straighter delivery, which Abbas defends for no run. That picture you're seeing of Collins leaning on his bat at the non-striking, that's just an evocative image. I think it's just how you see him, very kind of relaxed character in many ways, but also just full of absolute grit and determination and real self-confidence, as this one is shorter, and he attempts to just glide that one down to third man. Even though there is a third man in place, he doesn't get anything on it, and the keeper takes no run. Run rate below 4, so that's going to have to accelerate fairly soon, and certainly in this power play it's not the run fest you would like. But of course, T20 these days, it's not always about the power play. This one is short, and probably, I would say, close to being called a no ball. It was well overhead height to my eyes from here. The umpire decides not to call it, and that's the end of the over. 22 for 2, the Bears, after 6. All the twos. That looked well over his head to me.
Yeah,
I mean, as you say, he's not short in stature. He didn't really duck at all, so strange one, that one. So Collins 9 from 16. Let's hope he'd like to finish with a strike rate in T20s of over 100, which it is in terms of his career in the representative side since 2016. Not necessarily in the T20E eyes, as Aftab is in again and a single is picked up into the onside. Beg your pardon, Aslam into his second over. Abbas, 26 years of age, we're told.
Youngster.
Yeah, but not the youngest in the team today. As Aslam runs away from us. Short, and that one's got a top edge. He's going to go up to the keeper, and he's caught. He just got himself in a pickle again there. A bit like Kadir earlier on. The ball got onto him a bit big, and he had nowhere to go, really. couldn't get the bat out the way, and it's just ballooned up in the air for an easy catch for the keeper, and the Bears lose their third wicket at 23 for 3 in the 7th. Quite impressed by the sort of bowling plans of the Danes first up. They've got clear plans to the batters, and they're very wisely mixing up these fuller and shorter deliveries and using those, on 2 occasions, shorter deliveries as little surprise balls, which have resulted in wickets. So there's 2 really. They've chosen their moment, and it's reaped dividends for them on both occasions, as Jonathan Scamans, another veteran of this Finnish Bears team, comes to the crease. Number 10 on his back, the wicket keeper. As he marks his guard. So Finland, you could say, in trouble here. Collins still there on his final game, 10 not out, needing another 7 to reach 1,000 runs in T20 since 2016. But they've bowled well, Denmark. They really have at this start of this T20 game. As Aslan runs away from us, that one's fuller, and it's half defended by Scamans. He doesn't get much bat on it, but manages to prevent any danger from occurring. Not sure their spinning options, the Danes, not having seen this team for a while. I'm sure they've got one up their sleeve at least.
Should be able to find that for you in a while with the...
Fuller, a bit slower, dabbed into the offside. Good diving stop at backward point, no run. There's a breeze here at Kerava, seems to have just dipped a little bit. It was fairly breezy earlier on, and it was blowing across the ground to what would be Scamans' onside now, so the offside. So what would be the Collins' onside at the moment, down the hill, so helping any shots in that direction. But it's always easier to score down the hill towards the pavilion here at Kerava than it is the other direction, generally speaking. Slight slope, and often the breeze comes from away to our right as Scamans goes to that boundary area that I was talking about, harder to hit than the other one. He's picked up 4. Well, Collins, I beg your pardon. And I think, just watching that, you might not see it on screen, but just I think the deep mid-wicket fielder there wasn't quite ready.
Don't think he's...
He was tying his laces or something. Anyway, end of the over. 27 for 3.
Or Scamans, I think, actually.
Oh, it was Scamans, yeah, you're right. I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he gets off the mark with the boundary, a bit like Mohan before him. But definitely, the fielder out there is looking at the bottom of his shoes as if it's all their fault. But I don't think he was quite ready. And he looked up to see the ball travelling towards him.
Zip past him.
And there it was, into the fence. Anyway, it is now Nathan Collins on strike. Facing Aftab. Chops that into the offside for no run.
Aftab, just one of the players from KB back at home. Just looking at some of the stats from this squad. Got the club names of the players. Aftab. 2 Aftabs actually from KB, and
taking the eye on the thigh pad this time. They come through for a very quick run, called by Scamans. They get there safely in the end. double checking our team sheets here, because on the screen is Aftab, but we have no Aftab on our official team sheet. We have Bilal Ahmed, perhaps better known as Aftab, into his second over. So apologies if you've been rather confused by our calling. Anyway, he's in again now, this slingy action as he comes down the hill. That one's a short one, which Scamans ducks out of the way of. Nice bit of pace on that one.
Just checking on the official squad that we received from DCF, the Danish Cricket Federation, and they're definitely down as Aftab. Both of them at KB, assuming then they're both brothers, but we've got a middle name somewhere in the
Well, we know he's got number 94 on there.
Yep,
on
numbers
his
match.
back, so that's matching. Bilal Ahmed, we'll call him, stroke Aftab, as he's in again, slightly short of a length, and this one is carted down to deep third man by Scamans. Again, that ball looked to be onto him a little hurriedly. But I'll say again, it's been an impressive bowling performance by the Danes so far. And Finland only going along at 3.7, 3.8 at the moment. So it's a bit sticky, but Collins is still there. And he's facing now. He's facing a leg side wide, well taken by the keeper, who is Tor Turner. As Collins rehearses, he'll clip into the onside that he perhaps thinks he ought to have played to that last one. But he's got an extra run for his team anyway for the wide, so no harm done. It is a glorious morning here in Caravan, not the warmest, but it's ideal, I would say. Around 18 degrees and bright sunshine. Here's Aftab stroke Ahmed. Oh, and he gets something on that. The keeper has a leap to try and prevent that going behind him, but he doesn't get anything on it, and 4 runs is given to Collins, takes him to 14. Again, a little bit of extra pace on that one, just short of a length, zipping it through with that slingy action. And he might feel he's a little bit fortunate there. Hard to see how, from our angle, how wide that was of the keeper. I wouldn't think we're putting it down as a chance.
No, it wasn't too far away.
Anyway, he's in again after the final ball of his over. That one's fuller, and he's driving nicely up to mid-on. Is it going to beat the fielder who dives to his left? No. And they pick up a single. So, a little bit of an acceleration in that over from Scamans and Collins, the 2 batters at the crease, and that means that Finland end the 8th over on 35 for 3, having won the toss and elected to bat earlier on.
8 off that one then, was it, Richard?
So yeah, 8 off the over. That's certainly the most productive over. It's whipped that run rate way above 4 now, which isn't saying much, but as you can see from the little graphic on screen now, the most productive over so far for the Bears.
27 next bowler, Saran Aslam.
All right, who is also down to come in and open the batting. Doesn't look like we're getting any spin, so they are using the pace of this artificial wicket here for all it's worth as number 27 Aslam comes in. Again, a very similar action to Aftab, the other bowler at the other end, quite slingy. Collins on 15, just 2 away from the 1,000-run mark for the Bears since 2016. He chops down on that one, no run. Hands on head from the bowler, who thinks he was a whisker away from chopping that on. I think Collins thinks that as well as he looks to the heavens. And Andy, you can tell us a little more this over about Nathan Collins' decision to call it a day, as this one is a fuller delivery and he has a big swish at that one. Again, head goes to the sky, no runs. Is he calling it a day cricket totally, or just for the Bears?
Just for the Bears, I think, at the moment. The Collins family had a new arrival a short while back, and he's also had a change of working status. His old colleague Peter Gallagher due to leave the country for Australia tomorrow, so Nathan taking over the business, the bar business that he and Peter were working at. Would have been run out there as well if there's a direct hit.
Okay, but he takes...
Fortunately not for his run aggregate.
Yeah, picks up a single to move him to 16, just one away from that 1,000 run mark. Okay, so he's now taking on that business, and obviously new arrival, new business, lots of changes.
Yeah, plus the age factor as well. Obviously,
Yep.
none of us are getting any younger. Nathan's been around for a while. I think Scamans just turns that one around the corner. There's a fielder out there, but there's a single. Yeah, so not able to commit to the requirements of the national side. That's, I think, in short. And he, knowing Nathan as we do, and it's all or nothing. I mean, he's always been a keen player at training, the skipper and everything else, and obviously the commitment levels that are required for associate cricket.
He drops this one behind backward point. It's going to pick up at least a single here. They turned for the second, but there was
that
no
the 1,000, I think, is it?
second available. I think that is the 1,000th run since 2016 for Nathan Collins, who moves on to 17 and bring up that milestone at the end of the 9th over with the Bears on 37 for 3. I wonder if he's aware of that milestone, but nonetheless, whichever way you look at it, that's quite an achievement at associate level for a smaller cricket playing country like Finland. 1,000 runs.
First player to achieve it.
Must be, and quite possibly, not many. They're going to better that quickly or soon. So, well, many congratulations to him on a terrific career, and I think that's quite a nice and appropriate milestone for him to bring up. Any thoughts? I think we're going to have some spin. Just interrupting there. We have got number, we got 83 on his back, is that right? 93 is going to be Safi.
Yep.
So we're going to have the first tweaker of the day, a bit of leg spin from the top end. The first delivery just pushed into the offside for no run. Any thoughts that Collins would like to continue with in any coaching capacity, perhaps, or mentorship capacity? As a full toss, reverse dab on that one. I'm not sure whether he got much on it, but he's going to pick up 2.
I guess in the sense of
quarter wide as well.
I guess in the sense of never say never, and just in case Mrs. Collins is listening at the moment, then perhaps I'll leave that answer up in the air. I'd like to think that we'd have him involved in some capacity, but obviously probably not the moment to talk about it now.
Yeah, short ball, and he's just not quite got hold of that one. He feels like he's missed out. It was a real drag down from the leg spin, and a terrible throw comes in over the top of the keeper's head. So a little bit ragged, that ball, from the Danes, who've been excellent so far with their bowling attack. Scamans on strike then on 6. That one's short again. That looked like the wrong one. Not quite, actually. Probably just scooting on a little bit.
Didn't quite hold of it either, did he, from the sound of the bat?
That one's a little bit more air and in the slot. Again, a big swing over to the deep mid-wicket boundary, but not timing it to perfection again. And they only pick up a single, just scratching a moment at the moment for a little bit of timing. Out there, the Bears batters. As we approach the halfway mark of this game, and Finland yet to break the 50 mark. This one's given more air and just pushed up to extra cover by Collins, no run.
It's confirmation from the DCF CEO, Mr. Alex Olsen, live that Bilal Aftab is correct. So we've got Ahmad down on the list. So we'll take that one off.
Well, we can call him.
Thank you, Alex.
We can call him Aftab now. without fear of getting it wrong, because it's come from on high as that over ends. Safi, a little bit of a mixed bag, but not too expensive. 10 overs have gone. 5 came from that last one. Finland then 43 for 3. Sorry, 6 coming from that because there was an extra, wasn't there? 43 for 3 at the halfway mark. So they're going to have to put their foot down a little bit now as Aslam prepares to continue. That is in now. Sort of gentle approach, a bit of a wristy action, which Scamans helps on its way via pad, I think, into the on. No, it's called a wide. Actually. So another extra to the total, and a run taken as well. So a handful of wides in the last few overs from the Danes. This one is straight and just helped on its way over the top. It should bounce and make... No, it's not going to make it because... Although it will, because Zeb has made a right hash of it here on the boundary. There was 2 fielders converging on it, and either one of them could have got it. Zeb, in the end, well, he got himself in a bit of a tangle, ended up falling over, and the ball dribbled down the hill and over the rope. And Shakil is going to plod back to his mark, licking his wounds there. So another welcome boundary for the Bears. Only make that, what, 3 or 4 so far. Collins on to 22.
Sure.
This one is nicely guided into the offside for a single. I think 2 of those boundaries. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 we've had. I think probably 4, but 2 of those boundaries perhaps ought not to have been.
Yeah, we had the one out of Scamans, wasn't it? With the fielder was
due to some sloppy fielding.
Looking elsewhere, should we say. Yeah.
Still early in the day, as this one is clubbed to mid-off.
Yeah, good call.
And Scamans sent back immediately. He probably did get hold of that one.
I was just about to say, I think it's a good call given the fact that he did actually get hold of it, which meant it was in the hands of mid-off rather quickly.
Shorter, pulled into the onside. That is going to go to the fielder. We were mentioning just a moment ago, who this time makes no mistake, gathers nicely and sends the ball back in. And they just take a single. I hope it's the same fielder. I'm not doing him a disservice. Apologies if I am.
Yep. I think it is, Richard. This brings Collins onto strike, and perhaps as a result of the previous shot of Collins, he's moving his mid-off fielder back out onto long off, just on the boundary in front of us.
Yeah, Safi, who bowled the last over, he moves to the offside, does Collins, and that's gone miles up in the air. 2 fielders are heading towards it. It lands conveniently for Collins between the pair of them, and he gets away with that one, picks up a single. Yeah, Safi's been posted here at long off, which for him could be quite irritating, considering he's got to bowl the next over at the far end, but these days players don't think about inconveniences like that anymore, do they?
Not that we did.
No, never. Aslam is in. This one is chopped. This should make its way towards the cover boundary, but there is a fielder who's quickly onto it. And they only, again, pick up a single. Very lush outfield here, despite the fact we've had an awful lot of dry weather in Finland. So it's not the quickest I've ever seen it. It's in great condition, but it's not the quickest I've ever seen it. So there's a good smattering of grass on that outfield, despite the fact that we virtually had no rain in May at all. I mean, it was extraordinary for Finland. End of the over, by the way.
As I said on commentary yesterday, I think we had record temperatures. We had the record number of days above 25 degrees in May in all-time history, and we had no rain whatsoever. So yeah, it's looking lush as ever. This ground reacts rather sharply to.
So well done to Stevie Law, the groundsman here, who's done a terrific job to get this ready. As the next over is begun by Safi and his leg spin. That one was a better delivery, and Scamans down on a knee, trying to paddle sweep that one, got it all wrong. No run.
Yeah, groundsman Stevie was out giving the outfield a bit of a mow this morning, so it's freshly cut.
Well, mowing my lawn at home, it's just like mowing a desert. So this is nice to see, a very lush green outfield here. No run off that ball.
There were patches of the outfield at the back end of May that did look like a desert, I must say. So, yeah, it's recovered well. Bit of fertiliser assistance over the last couple of weeks, and here we are.
Full toss,
Oh.
and he misses out. Scamans here. Doesn't time it, and he jogs the first, really. They could have pushed for 2 because he didn't get hold of it. Exactly because there was no timing. The ball took a long time to get out to that long on-fielder, and he's cursing himself there. It was a bit of a sloppy first run.
I think he was disappointed about the fact that he didn't get hold of it, didn't he? You can see his head was down. He was, rather than
well, as
running quickly for the first.
As we tell the kids we coach, you never mind that. You just get on, you leg it to the other end and see what happens.
Exactly.
So missed opportunity perhaps for 2 there. Safi's taken a little bit off his action here now. He was quite quick and flat his first over. This one's a little bit more, got a little bit more air and guile to it. Collins missing out again there on a scoring opportunity. He's 24 from 33 on his final game for the Finnish Bears, having passed the 1,000 mark as a run scorer. This one's a nice shot though. He's really timed the Watts hits off that, and again, perhaps ought to have looked for a second, but it was timed so nicely that it got to the cover boundary rider rather quicker than he expected. The pair have a little chat in mid-wicket.
Yeah, ironic, isn't it, that the balls that they've timed this morning, that they've only managed to get a single to keep thinking out the fielders.
This one could go all the way. It has. It's bisected those 2 fielders on the deep mid-wicket boundary, and he did get hold of that. It was dragged down a little bit, sat up, and Scamans was much quicker onto it than before, and he got his timing right there to pick up another welcome boundary at the end of that Safi over. So 12 gone. The Bears 59 for 3.
6 off that one. Yep. Not quite yet the acceleration that they'd be looking for, but at least moving it along a little bit quicker. 36 from 34, yep.
It's a good a partnership. It's a partnership they needed. These two have batted together, of course, many a time. And it's good because that partnership's probably the only one of all of them that have surpassed a strike rate of 100. Such as the pedestrian nature of the scoring bin. Now we've got another change of bowling. Number 25, Simon Sorensen, is going to come back for his 3rd, but he's changed ends now. Tall, high action, full delivery, which Collins gets himself in a pickle with. I think he's trying to give himself room on the onside, but in the end he ended up stretching for it. But he's picked up a single. Lovely tall action this bowler has. He's quite young, very impressive in his opening spell. Slower, loopy delivery, but full, and Scamans again just head in the air as he set off for that one, thinking about what could have been rather than actually trying to get to the end quicker and make it into 2. He suddenly realised that, didn't he, halfway through, and he thought,
that again.
I think probably Colo's had a word with him and say, look, you know, whatever happens, just run that first one as quick as you possibly can, get to the other end and worry about it afterwards, or not worry about it at all, in fact.
Indeed.
Again, slower delivery, turned into a full toss. He's got hold of this as Collins, and there's 2 fielders again aiming to cut that one off, and neither of them succeed. And I think the bowler is rather unhappy with that, but another welcome boundary. Collins with appropriately number 1 on his back. Picks up 1 more, and now moves on to 30. Scamans signals for a drink. That's 3 boundaries now where they perhaps ought not to have been boundaries. So something for the Danes perhaps to work on. We've got a lost ball too.
I was just saying, wonder why they were going drinks, but the ball's just been just through the boundary fence. There's the smallest of holes there, so it's pretty much probably the only place that it could have gone through.
Umpires are calling for spare ball box.
Yeah, that's the place you want to hide your special little ball, isn't it? If it were ever to get lost there. They really are struggling here. Nobody's coming really to help them, although Geek now, our scorer, has kindly left his box and he's going to help look for it. The umpires, we're told, have called for a spare ball.
Oh, they found it, I think. Yep.
Just checking it. Is it the right one? It's a pink one. How's that going? No.
Yeah, here's one I had earlier.
Watch this one. Swing round corners now. The umpires in their natty pink tops, just checking
Natty.
it.
Oh.
I like the word natty, and they are very nice. Unmistakable. Anyway, Sorensen, who's probably a little fed up after that last hiatus, because he was spoilt his rhythm somewhat. He'll run in again away from us to Collins, who's on 30 now from 37. Fuller delivery, big swing, a little bit of pace taken off it, and he's down on one knee again. I think his front leg was going down the Metropolitan. Well, the ball headed down the Jubilee that time.
Yeah. Clearly looking to give himself room and play in this area that's open here. We've got a sweeper out on the cover boundary, and then the next man is a pretty straight long off, so there's nothing in between. Quite clearly, that's what he was aiming for.
Well, this one's gone miles up in the air. There's three fielders could take this. Which one will? Neither of them. Could be a run out, though. And Sorensen is going to be livid. He's going to be absolutely livid. Now, to me, there was three fielders heading towards that ball. The favourite for it was the guy running in from long on. And I don't think he was the one that got closest to it in the end. So, some sloppy fielding in the outfield from the Danes, who otherwise have been excellent. And these two starting to put their foot down a little bit now. They need to. 66 for 3. This one is coming to the long off fielder. He's not timed it again, Scamans. As Collins wants second. Scamans a little bit slower. Couldn't turn and get back, and that's the end of the over. 67 for 3, so 8 coming from it. And a welcome injection of pace, but that run rate still rather feeble at the moment at 5 and over. Having won the toss, the Bears, earlier and decided to bat.
Yeah, I think the coaching team will be a bit disappointed with some of this running between the wickets, and Nathan, the senior partner, quite clearly then quicker than Scamans between the wickets here, and definitely missed out on at least a couple of twos, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that, and he is, as we say, not getting any younger, but he's still an absolute whippet between the wickets, isn't he? Always has been.
Yeah, always has been. Always been the number one on the yo-yo test, or the bleep test, whichever you prefer to call it, or the IETL test even. That's the official terminology these days. Always the one that was the last to finish, running further than anybody else.
Now we've got a change of bowling. Lucky Malik, who's coming around the wicket with some left arm stuff, which is called a wide, the first one. He's got a small number on his back, number 88, compared to the rest. Perhaps he's got a little jumper on as he comes around the wicket. And Scamans has gone for this. It's up in the air. This should be taken. And it is comfortably by the man on the deep mid-wicket boundary. And Scamans falls. That's the fourth down. He's gone for 16 from 18. But with that partnership, him and Nathan Collins have added a little bit of impetus to this Bears innings. So he's done a bit of a job there. A few runs perhaps still left out there, but nonetheless, it's a healthier position they're in than they were before he came to the crease. 16 he contributed to that partnership, of 45 from 41.
Skipper Amjad, I think it'll be, to join him from the gate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, number 20.
He's not, well, he's on the sheet there, number 10, but seems very low for somebody like him, and he's probably decided as skipper, I'm going to get out there and try and inject a bit more pace into this and pick up where Scamans left off, especially perhaps he thought with a left arm spinner coming on. He might fancy this one into the stream, away to his left, over the tents.
Yeah, 3 men out for that.
This one is quicker and flatter. He does go into that area, but along the ground that should only be a single. So Malik with his first delivery a wide, second one a wicket, third one a single. Collins 31 on strike. This one is reverse swept nicely. It does beat the fielder.
Just got a hand on it.
But I think they should pick up 2 here. No, they could have done quite easily, to my mind.
Another miss 2.
Yeah, and it was Collins who was turning to come to the danger end, and we're just talking about how quick he is between the wickets. I think he's probably a bit annoyed with himself. Whose call that was, I don't know, but another run perhaps missed out on.
Zeb was the fielder. I think he just got a hand on it. I think maybe he wasn't sure how much of a hand. Singing the gap.
Now they've got to push for 2 surely here. They'll easily get that, even with a rather slow turn from Sher. Gets home easily.
That's another player that Collins is running quicker between the wickets. Let's see if the skipper can catch him up.
Malik short and quick, hooked, or pulled rather into the onside, but again, another fielding mistake. The fielder, what's he done there? Fumbled it a couple of times. It's allowed them to come back for 2 when there should only have been 1. So a little bit of ragged fielding out in the deep from the Danes there. Again. Short and quick. This one he's got hold of, and it's going to go over the boundary.
Oh, yes, just.
I think it's just crept over. No, it's not. He's given us 4, but he got hold of that one. One bounce and
fielder just got a hand on it.
Over the rope. So Malik, a bit of a mixed bag of an over. He finishes his first. The Bears move on to 78 for 4 after 14.
11 off that one.
And the wicket
looking to do that for the next 6, I think. So it's something in that ballpark.
6 left, so they're going to want to try and push now up to 130, which, considering they were only 13 for 1 after 4, 19 for 1 after 5, would be something for them to defend. Number 16 is back into the attack, replacing Sorensen. So Aslam coming on for his 3rd. Our friend with the black cricket shoes. Slower delivery.
Shot.
Well struck. That was.
Ooh, hit the fielder.
Again, straight to the fielder. But that was probably the nicest time shot he's played all innings. That's not to say it hasn't been full of some decent shots, but that just felt nice, didn't it, that one?
Yeah. Just that sound off the Keeley when it comes off the middle. Heard that a few times in the last few seasons.
Sher on strike then. Just dabs that. Chips it really into the onside for a single. And probably wise as well, just to keep Collins on strike as much as possible here. If they're going to continue with Malik, I'm not so sure they will at the other end with his left arm spin. That might be the bowler that Sher would prefer to face, but whether he'll come back after that last over remains to be seen. Short, pulled. This could go all the way and should no. Oh, he's got a hand on it, the fielder, and he's just all he's done is pushed it basically over the boundary. I thought it was going to beat him easily, but the perspective was rather deceptive, and in the end, it was quite a straightforward chance. I would have suggested. It's almost strange. Like he pushed it over the boundary. So another boundary that shouldn't have been. But for the Bears, they'll take it, and Collins particularly takes him on to 37.
Over by over after this.
Step down the wicket. This one's launched in the air. He could perish here. He has gone, finally. Taken by the fielder running in from long on, who is Musa Mahmood, and Nathan Collins in his final innings in a Finland Bears jersey.
37.
Goes for 37 off 42. But if you were listening to us earlier, you'll know that he has managed to surpass the 1,000 run mark in internationals for Finland. since 2016, which is some achievement, and I hope he gets a good standing ovation from his teammates as he goes back. He'll be disappointed, of course, you always are after getting out, but we'll give our own little clap here from the commentary box. He's been a very loyal and tremendous servant to cricket here in Finland, and well done him.
Harry Dandapani, the next batter in to join skipper Amjad Sher at the wicket. Another one of the more seasoned campaigners, should we say. Harry's been around a while.
He's facing Aslam now. This is just taken on the pad. They go through for a quick single. That'll bring Sher back on, who's 10 off 5. Now he doesn't hang around, generally speaking.
I think the skipper will be looking to hopefully play his way all the way through from here to the end, ideally. As you said, doesn't normally hang around, but I think in the situation of the game, it's what he needs to be doing.
He's really got hold of that one. That's gone absolutely miles over cow corner into the netting. That is a terrific shot. He's pulled that off the outside off stump that time. He's absolutely nailed it. And when I say earlier he doesn't hang around, I didn't mean it in the sense that he doesn't stay at the crease. He just doesn't. He gets on with it. That's what I'm trying to say. And he certainly got on with it there to end that over with a tremendous 6. And he moves on to 16 from 6. The Bears, much more healthily now, are 91 for 5 after 15. So that 130 target we were talking about could actually be a little conservative. And if they were to reach something like, well, if they go at 10 and over, if they were to reach 140, that would be a terrific effort. But let's see.
Yeah, let's see.
They've not got anywhere close to a run rate of 10 and over so far. Sorensen's back into the attack. He's switched ends again, coming down the hill. And Dandapani pushes him up to long on for a single. Oh, they could have thought about a second as the stumps are broken.
Sleepy.
Yep.
Not looking. As you said before, Richard, coaching the kids, that's another one. Dandapani had given
Never
up
turn
and
your back
turn
on
around,
the ball.
turned his back on the ball, yep. And more pointers for the coaching team as we move towards the August World Cup qualifiers that Finland will be playing in Guernsey.
Sorensen's short. He doesn't get hold of that one.
Missed that, didn't he?
He really did. He'll be annoyed with himself, but they get a single out of it. He's got real quick bat speed as Sher. He just sort of stands tall and swings. Immensely powerful man. And that was a similar shot to the one he carted over to cow corner for 6 the previous over. Sorensen slower. This one just chipped into the onside. It'll just be a single from Dandapani. Brings Sher back onto strike. Oh dear, could be a misfield. Now get on your feet and run the second.
Oh dear.
Nope. Sorry, a little
bit
bit of the coach coming out in me there for a second.
Some lethargic cricket going on out there today, not looking sharp as they should.
Yeah, it's easy to say, isn't it? But, you know, that's probably half a dozen runs, occasions where an extra single could have been taken. In the block hole, dug out, well fielded off his own bowling by Sorensen, who's been quite impressive, I think, despite going wicketless into his final over, just gone for 20.
Yeah, Sher will be thinking at this point that he needs to not hang around, as you said earlier, but he also needs to make sure that he stays there.
Yeah, it's that awkward balance, isn't it? No, his one should go. It just
wristily
prods that really over the head of long off for 4. It was an extraordinary shot, really.
That's quick hands again.
Yeah.
Really done a lot of work over the winter on that as well. It's you know, the Amjad quick hands, as you said before. It's maybe not the most traditional of techniques, but at the same time he's got a good eye, and we've just been trying to get him with get that solid base and not hitting the ball off balance. I think that's probably as much as anything. You don't want to, you know, with a player with such quick hands, you don't want to sort of stop any of that, but at the same time, you know, pick the ball and make sure that the balance is there.
Yeah, it was an extraordinary shot, really. He's had it again, but that one is a more, shall we say, traditional agricultural heave. And luckily for him, he doesn't get anything on it. Sorensen ends his spell. Pretty decent, I think, despite not taking a wicket. So 4 overs, 0 for 24. And the Bears, after 16, 98 for 5, 7 coming from that over. So this is looking much healthier than it perhaps threatened to do earlier on. They lost their first wicket in the first over, 3 for 1 after 2, 5 for 1. They were only 19 for 1 after 5. But that Scamans-Collins partnership added a little bit of impetus to the innings. And now Sher and Dandapani have got to take that on until, you would say, the climax of this innings. 4 overs left, and Shakil Zeb, is coming back, the opening bowler.
I think it's classic case of looking at partnerships, and as the bowler loses his run up, I'll say a little bit more. So the partnership side of things, rather than everything have to go at 12, 15 and over from ball 1, as we often have seen in recent T20 matches at the World Cup, for example. I think it's all about them still putting partnerships together, even though it's a shorter format of the game. And that's such an important factor as well, that you don't end up falling apart as we did yesterday, 70-something.
Yeah, Zeb's first ball just turned into the onside, full delivery. There's been some remarkable overnight action in the T20 World Cup. I noticed South Africa just scraped home against Nepal.
Ah, I missed that one. Okay.
Yeah, they got there on the, well, they restricted them. They won by 1 run, South Africa. Nepal falling 1 run short after their 20 overs.
Chasing how many, do you remember?
100 and not many, I'll tell you in a moment. Zeb is carted over long off, but not timed by Sher. They should push back for a second quite easily, and they do. Yeah, it was 114, 115.
Okay.
South Africa made, so 116 the target for Nepal, who fell 1 run short on the last delivery.
Wow.
That would have been an upset, and that's a short ball ducked under. That one certainly was not anywhere near being a no ball, with Sher being quite tall. And I think they've done well, the bowlers, the Danes, with those shorter deliveries. They've known when to use them wisely. So they've been very impressive in that respect, in terms of their plans to the batters. This one's fuller. This has gone miles up in the air. Now it should be taken. 2 men under it. One's going to take it. No, he's misjudged it completely. He's overrun it, and it's gone over his head. And Shakil Zeb just stands there, absolutely disgusted with his fielder. I'm afraid to say it again, but that must be the 5th boundary now that's gone down, and what should have been prevented, but was not by a fielding error. That 100 mark is up.
Ironically, from here, looking at that, I think the fielder hadn't moved an inch, then it would have been right down his throat. So.
Well, look, you know, I've got to say, it's one of my pet hates, that. I'll come back to it in a moment as Shakil comes in. This one's slow, and Sher's just clubbed that into the onside for another 4 runs. Terrific shot.
Insult to injury.
Really terrific shot that was. He just stood there and delivered, really, a cross-batted swipe. But that earlier ball, you know...
Who'd be a bowler, eh? Who'd be a bowler?
You're telling... Your long on, your long off fielders to not come in too close. You walk in, but not so far that if you misjudge the length, it goes sailing over your head. Because once you've come too far forward, you can't go back.
Yeah.
And he stood there with his arms crossed. I think he knows he's made a bit of a boo-boo there, the fielder. This is some useful injection of pace from Sher. 109 for 5 now in the 17th. Short, and again clubbed into the onside. This could...
just a single, I think. Yep.
I thought for a moment
Straight to
bisect the fielders, but no, I can't.
Didn't quite get hold of it, did he? I think that's...
No,
and I think it would have bisected the fielders if he'd managed to middle it.
Couldn't quite see that fielder through the corner of my shed here. But anyway, a very lucrative over that for the Bears. 12 coming from it. 110 for 5 after 17. Zeb is going to be seething, I think.
That's his third over.
But already this is a far better performance than yesterday for the Bears, who were rather somewhat embarrassed by Norway in the T20I last night, losing by 97 runs. Bowled out for 74, I think it was, chasing 162.
172.
172, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's just shown again today. You've got to make sure that you bat the overs, make sure that you've got somebody that gets set, a couple of partnerships, you know, the same stuff that we try and coach the kids from an early age. It's, you know, they're often easy to get carried away with trying to play those big shots then too early and not being set, and things that we see the professionals do perhaps.
Right, Sher's facing now, and a short ball, that's gone miles up in the air. Now, what are they going to do with this? There's two fielders going towards it. One has dropped it. And they could pick up a third, no, or a second rather.
Wow.
Sher should not have survived that ball, frankly.
Second life, I think.
Yeah.
We can say safely there.
Dropped again, just trying to see who the bowler is. It's Aftab, who's back for his third. Slower ball, and he's got hold of that one. That's sailing over the tents. That's into the stream, possibly.
Oh, Bobo's got it. Well done.
Yeah, well done. It's just caught the fence there, but another six to Sher, who's playing a remarkable cameo here. Really is. He's moved on to 40 off 17. So this has added more than a sheen of respectability to this score. They've gradually increased as they've gone on, and the slow start, you worried that they were stuck, but now this is looking very respectable indeed. If Amjad Sher and Dandapani can stick together for the rest of this innings, then they could post a highly competitive target.
Definitely what they'll be looking for. I think that's working with the skipper on this part of his game, as I mentioned in the winter. I think he's got to be able to stay around long enough to make, you know, the damage that we've seen today, because that's what he's capable of.
Here's Aftab again. That's a quicker ball, kept a bit low, and that's the kind of swing that Sher will take, and he'll just put it out of his mind and move on to the next one.
Just about to say, as I give him a compliment, then here we see the agricultural swipe come out again. Whereas a classical guide over extra cover would have been perhaps one for that shot.
Yeah, he's not in the textbook, Amjad Sher. Not yet, anyway, as that one is clubbed remarkably into the ground, onto the offside. They should pick up two. No. They don't.
Bottom edge, I think, was that?
Yeah, well, he should have kind of bottom edged it into the ground, but with such ferocity, it flew to the fielder out on the cover boundary. I thought the two was on simply because he hadn't timed it, but he'd somehow managed to time an under edge.
Yeah. Ferocity, that's a good word to use, of the speed of the bat.
Well, then Dandapani hasn't seen much of the strike so far. Oh, and he's going to get away with this, and they're going to pick up 4 byes. Oh no, he's got bat on it.
Ah, okay.
So it's given us runs, and that's a welcome boundary. Nothing any of the fielders could have done with that one, I'm afraid. So for once, we can't apportion any blame to the outfielders. A little bit of luck doesn't help. That doesn't hurt. Now and then. Sort of just went straight through him. He must have got a little bit of a tickle on it. So 123 for 5. Not timed. Angry with himself there. I think he was through the shot a little quicker than he expected. But again, another lucrative over. That one for the Bears. 13 coming off it. 1, 2, 3 for 5 after 18. And we've upped our par over the last few overs quite significantly. A few overs ago we were talking about 120, 130. Now we're probably looking at getting closer to 150 than 140, which would be a real boost for the Bears.
Yeah, a couple of critical partnerships again. I mean, as we've said before, Collins and Scamans, then whilst they weren't setting the world alight, they were still going at over a run a ball, and at that stage of the game is quite a critical one, as Sher then slaps that one over, extra cover. Perhaps listening to the comment that I made from the last over when that was the shot that we would have wanted to play to that ball, which was then slashed over the vacant extra cover area. A couple of bounces and 4 runs.
Well, Shakil Zeb started off very well. His first couple of overs were quite impressive, but he's taken a bit of punishment these last 2, and he's not a happy camper at the moment. He goes down leg side, the keeper misses it, so it's going to be a wide. They'll pick up at least 1.
Just thought the helmet was in business there for a minute.
Yeah, that could have been a nice handy 5. Penalty runs.
Didn't miss by much.
The keeper's, who's had quite an easy ride for most of this innings, has had a bit of a torrid time the last few overs or so. A few byes going against his name. Now then, this is missed time completely, and it should be taken. No, it's dropped again, and it's almost parried it past his fielder, who's coming in to back up. So again, a little bit of fortune for the Bears in the field.
More difficult one, that one, you have to say.
It was, nonetheless.
But definitely catchable.
It was almost that comedy moment where you parry the ball past your own player, but it was sufficiently far enough away from the boundary for it to count. This one he's got hold of. Sher, one bounce, one hand from the fielder out in the deep, but he couldn't get enough on it to prevent it going over the boundary, and he's picked up yet another one. And this is an onslaught at the moment, and a very, very welcome one, although it's Dandapani picking up the runs there. He's moved on to 13 from 8. That was a very Sher-esque shot, although a little bit more
Sher-esque.
a little bit more elegant, shall we say?
Marginally.
Marginally. Now Shakil, who's got to be livid at the moment. Short, this one's, again, more luck. It's gone over the keeper's head. This is going to race away, I think, to the boundary for yet another. And it's given us runs off the top edge, I think. And it's all looking a bit ragged for the Danes at the moment. Plenty of double teapots out there. Hands on hips. Folded arms. Looks to the sky. And
Zeb's figures are being
mutilated
radically
at the
changed.
moment. They are, yes.
Mutilated, yeah. That's...
1 for 32 at the moment. Which in the grand scheme of things isn't horrendous, but considering how many his first 2 went for, which weren't a lot.
Yep.
And Dandapani, who's 17 now, awaits him, short, and he tries to pull that one, gets it on the body, and Sher's quickly through for a single. They could pick up a second here.
Yep. Dandapani's just followed through again far too far.
Yeah.
The non-striker's end.
Yeah, I mean, that's just got to be a case. You get yourself to the other end, you turn and go.
Yep.
But bringing Sher back onto strike won't be too much of a disaster. He's 45 off 20. Can he bring up his half century?
With a biggie.
Be nice to do it in one shot, wouldn't it? And we're at 140 already, the Bears. So the 150 is on. This could...
Has he got enough of it?
Be caught in the deep. There's 2 men converging on it. And they've dropped it again. It's gone for 4. Or has it?
Did it go? No, I think it was looking at it was going to go.
Well, the fact that the fielders did not react, I mean, that's poor, I'm afraid. Poor old Shakil. He's going to have some words, I think, afterwards. Anyway, the bottom line is...
Slight uphill, I think, saved the boundary at this end.
They've been gifted a few in the deep, but you make your own luck. 19 gone, 142 for 5. And I think the Danes, having bowled very well for the first half of this innings, are going to rue some lost opportunities here. They've taken 5 wickets, but they've been quite shoddy in the field. And they've let this get away from them a little bit, I think.
Yes.
Well, a lot, in fact.
Okay, who's going to take the last one? Is that?
Probably Aftab, I should imagine,
yep.
again. That's wide. Dandapani stretching for it, but it's not given as a wide. Aftab's gone for 21 off his first 3.
Didn't see whether Dandapani, did he take a slight movement towards leg? Made it look as though it was wider than it was, but like yourself, I was Just missed that on the screen. Can we just see the wide lines there? Just about, maybe. The blue, I think. Have the groundsman repaint those, I think, the next game. You get something on that one. And that goes down to the fielder at third man, just for the single. Which I think, strategically speaking, is what they'll be wanting for the last over. Get Sher on strike for the last 4 balls.
Yeah, he was on 47. So this has been, well, 2 great partnerships, really. Collins and Scamans started it. Well, 3, Sher and Dandapani have accelerated from that consolidating partnership of Collins and Scamans. This one short and quick, and a big ugly swing, frankly, which he gets nothing on.
Yeah. I'd be disappointed with that. Doesn't want to be seeing any dot balls in this last over, and we've already had 2. Skipper will be angry with himself there, but see if he can reset. Make something off the last 3 balls of the final over.
Yeah, 150 would be a nice psychological mark to reach, I think, as he comes down the wicket a little bit this time, and he's absolutely livid with himself, smacking the ground with his bat. Not too hard, but enough to show some frustration, because that's 2 dot balls. He's ticking, isn't he? You can tell.
Yep, see if he can reset. Maybe, I was going to say, maybe just take a step outside of the crease.
Well, he's
but
stepping back
in the
into his crease, yeah.
A bit too early as well, I think. The bowlers quite clearly see what he's doing.
Well, he's picked that length up, although he's found the fielder. He's going to push for 2, Dandapani. That's very good running. There could be a run out, and there is.
Yep.
I think he had to go for it, get him back on strike, and to pick up an extra second. With the way things have been going, there's all possibility that some fumble might have occurred, but the keeper made no mistake in the end. And Sher ends what has been a terrific innings. He goes for 48 off 24, but he's done a real job for his side as the skipper, Sher. And that means that we will have
Parveen Kumar, I think.
Kumar coming out.
Yep.
5 fours, 2 sixes. And between them, the former skipper and the new skipper have done a terrific job for their side today. Only 1 ball left, so 150's going to have to come up with a maximum. And it might come with a 4, or not come,
Yeah,
but it'll get a 4 anyway,
yep.
Which is terrific end. So 148 for 6, a little bit of fortune at the end there, but, well, I have to say, 148 for 6, I had no confidence, really, at the halfway stage when they were only 43 for 3 that they would get anywhere near 150, but they've put on
105 off the last 10.
105 off the last 10, which is very good going. And the stars of the show, Nathan Collins going for 37, and Sher, who made 47, the former captain, and the current captain, have done themselves proud. 48 Sher went for, I beg your pardon. Have done themselves proud there, and I think, Andy Armitage, that a target of 149 for the Danes, Finland will be very happy with.
Yeah, pleased with that. It's in an ideal world, probably would have wanted a few more. But considering both the situation at the halfway point as well as the game yesterday, I think we'd definitely have taken a 148 this morning if you'd have asked anybody. So it's a good turnaround from yesterday's performance. There were quite a few stern but constructive words last night after the match, and I think the guys quite clearly felt that they really did underperform yesterday. It wasn't a reflection of where we're currently at. So it's good to see some of the runs scored out there today. That'd be good to see if they could defend that total.
Yeah, so 149 will be the target for Denmark A when they resume in 5 or 10 minutes time or so. We'll be right back with you to bring you that reply, but for now we'll just take a short break and hope to see you again in a few moments' time. I'll welcome you back to the Kerava National Cricket Ground here in Finland for the Danish reply in this first T20 game of 3 today. And the story is that they need 149 to win Denmark as Kabir opens up for the Finnish Bears, and the Danes are immediately off the mark with Turner, who picks up a single into the onside.
Debutant there, bowling his first ball for Finland in the Finnish Bears shirt.
That's the voice of Andy Armitage, Chief Executive of Cricket Finland. Team manager, team maker, everything in between.
You name it.
And he'll tell us a little bit more about Kabir making his debut for the Finnish Bears. His second ball is another single. Denmark 2 without loss after a couple. So a debutant among, 3 or 4 in the Bears side today. What do we know about this
4.
young chap?
Yeah, Bangladeshi background, playing his cricket currently with the Bengal Tigers in the Finnish Premier League, and another one that we've had a look at over the winter for the first time.
Got a bit of pace about him, and that's a nice delivery. Bowled very well, very bustly action, quick arm action, and that one's flown through to the keeper, Jonathan Scamans.
Got him some new bowling shoes, which always helps.
Well, yeah, bowling shoes per se help, don't they?
Well, they do indeed, and I think he's not been in Finland all that long. As I said, just come into the squad this winter and not played too much of his cricket back in Bangladesh or any cricket in artificial strips. So this has been a new experience for him, and that's top edge.
Well, there is a chance, but I think it's going to fall short of Dandapani, who's coming in from sort of wide third man.
I was just about to say whether he'd got enough of an edge on it to carry all the way to the deep third man, but it didn't. It just came down, just in between the third man who was back on the boundary, Dandapani, and in between him and the inner circle. So, yeah,
a false shot. So yeah, interested to see this guy, somebody who may be part of the Finnish Bears setup for a few years to come. As time goes on, we're being brought very kindly a nice cup of tea. Thank you very much, Srini.
Oh, and another outside edge.
One of our umpire coordinators here, and well known on the circuit as an umpire himself. So thank you to him for bringing us a refreshing cup of tea in the commentary box on a lovely, fresh but bright morning here in Kerava. It's still just morning, 10 to 12 local time. And we're watching Human Kabir bowling to Turner, the wicket keeper, an opening batter for Denmark, who gets yet another single.
I was just about to say whether that was going to get away from him, but it was similar ball and a similar shot that he played as the first ball of the over, just beating the fielder at mid-wicket on the ring.
So 5 for 1 after, sorry, 5 for without loss. Just credited him with a wicket that didn't exist. So 5 without loss after the first over. Then the target 149. And that's because the Bears, despite getting off to a very, very pedestrian start, managed to post a pretty impressive total given the context. Thanks mainly to 37 from Nathan Collins, playing his final match for the Finnish Bears after an illustrious career, and a 48 from the new skipper who took over from Nathan Collins, Amjad Sher, making 48 at quite a lick as well.
Another debutant we've got here, Richard, for the second over. 37, which is Pavan Karunaratne, from the name you'll guess, with a Sri Lankan background.
Given another name on screen, so forgive us if we call him
That's
Karunaratne.
one of his 5 names in the passport. Arachige.
Anyway, we're going to see some left arm over. That's down the leg side immediately, and is messy for Scamans, and they go through for a single. So a slightly nervous start then for Karunaratne. Getting some words of wisdom from the skipper Amjad Sher, who's positioning himself at mid-off. The usual position for many a skipper, although Collins, the previous man, was your backward point specialist. Dandapani doesn't pick up cleanly. Had he done, he might have been in with a shout of a direct hit, running out the player. But Collins, having said that, is now at extra cover. And the men out on the ring. If Andy can stick his head through the shed, will tell us we've got a wide long on, a deep mid-wicket.
That's it.
And that's it. As the left armour comes in, full toss. Not timed. Into the onside, yet another single.
Yeah, Pavan been in Finland a little bit longer than the previous bowler, Kabir. Sufficiently to say that I think it's around about 4 years, so he is officially ICC eligible. Originally lived in Tampere, moved down south to this neck of the woods, and is playing his trade for the Vantaa Cricket Club this season. As he continues left arm over, wraps him on the pad.
An appeal here. He might be fortunate going left arm over the wicket to the right-hander.
Going to say he does move it a little bit, but I don't think that much. Certainly not on that occasion. It wasn't one of the balls either, was it? You looked of starting it outside off and drifting it back in.
But that'll give him some confidence at least. And a nice LB, as a bowler, a nice LBW shout is always good to get the blood pumping as well, even if it's optimistic, as that one perhaps was. This one's fuller and driven, but straight to the man at mid-wicket, and there's no run. So he's easing himself a little bit more into this over. Pavan. The run rate needed, as you'll see if you're watching as well as listening to us, just a shade over 7.5. So not huge, but certainly more than it was looking like earlier on in the Finnish pairs innings. There's a good turn for 2 here. As a good throw comes in straight to the keeper. It's a terrific throw, in fact, enough for the players to get excited out on the field, but the batter was safely home. Sorry, Andy.
That's all right.
They've just got off to quite a busy start here, Denmark, picking up the singles and the odd 2.
I was just going to say, just an observation here again from the just watching the first innings, as we mentioned, quite a few ones not turned into 2s, and the Danes then turning quickly and coming back and turning that one into a 2, which from the first innings, then quite a number of occasions that Finland didn't manage to do.
Yeah, this one is spooned up over the head of Collins, who leaps to try and take it one-handed, but in the end he couldn't quite clutch it, and it races away to the boundary for 4. So slightly fortunate there. It wasn't a time shot, it was a low full toss, and well, you wouldn't want any other fielder there apart from Collins, and it just eluded his grasp. So quite a useful over in the end for Denmark, 10 coming from it, and they're 15 without loss after 2.
Again, one of those, I think, you know, the way that T20's played these days, you know, the Collins was quite clearly just coming in with the bowler, as we were always taught to do as kids. And, you know, it's 6 of 1 and after, isn't it? I think you looked at that one, it literally just went over his head as he came in for it. If he'd stood on the circle and not moved, then you kind of helped thinking that would have been right down his throat. But
yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? And if you don't get to a catch for not walking in, you're in trouble that way, as well. As Kabir returns now, and this is taken high up on the pad, but they squeeze through for a very comfortable leg bye. Has it given us a leg bye? Not quite sure. But he's got something about him, this bowler, for sure. Young, quick, busy. And it's good to see that these 2 debutants are given opening bowling duties, responsibility, but it doesn't help. And this one's short, and it's just fended down to third man. Well taken by Dandapani on the run. After 1 bounce, he sends the throw back in, and they only pick up a single. So it's a bit of a all-action start to this reply compared to the Finnish Bears innings, which was rather sluggish. But it is a nice move. These 2, Sher would ordinarily take the new ball, but giving it to these two might be quite a nice psychological thing to help them ease into their Finnish Bears careers. This one is
Same fielder
clubbed
again.
yeah. Just chopped really down to wide third man for a single.
Yeah, a little bit of extra pace from Kabir. I think it's Dandapani's going to be in the money. In the business here for everything, as soon as Kabir just drifts a little bit outside off, giving him some width. Maybe the batter's not quite then in yet and timing things as edges flying through there, through the third man region.
Yeah, Aslam, it is the man on strike, 10 off 8. Kabir gets hold of that one, but it's gone over the ring, and because of the fielding restrictions, there's nobody out on that long on boundary. It plugs a little bit, so it doesn't make it, and only 2 are picked up. But well retrieved by the skipper, I think it is out there.
Yep. As you said, a regular mid-on, deciding to have his... Just looking where the second fielder is out. He's got a deep third man. Oh, we haven't got a second fielder out by the looks of it, or am I mistaken? Oh, wait a minute, we have. Sorry, Jeff, he was lost in the blue of the tent. Camouflaged. I think that's... yeah, Abbas down there. At deep cow corner, just to the left of the Finnish team's tent, as we said.
Well, they've already raced to 21, Denmark, and we're in the third over. I say raced, not entirely unusual in T20, but just compared to the sluggish start that the Bears made, this has been all action. They seem to be taking a run off every single ball at the moment, whereas the Bears were getting stuck in their innings. A lot of dot balls, which slowed their progress, so they went the other way, accelerated as they went on. The Bears will need to just becalm this from Denmark, who've looked fairly easy in these first 3 overs, 21 without loss. After 3, the Bears were already 6 for 1, so that gives you an idea of the comparative starts the two teams made. Very nice cup of Earl Grey.
Tetley's for me.
Oh, you've got Tetley's, I get Earl Grey.
Yeah, I think you being from Birmingham originally then wouldn't get that one, but I'll share you a bag later on. Brought my own supply yesterday, I'll have you know, just to be sure.
Very good. Right, Pavan's continuing, left arm over, his long hair bouncing behind him. Full and beats the batter, there's an appeal. But it's not interested the umpire. So, as a fellow debutant, he's had a couple of appeals, which will help him feel like he's in the game a little bit. So nothing worse, is there, as a debutant than just being on the end of a pounding and not feeling like you're in the game. So this will be good for his confidence as he comes in now. Slightly angled run, fuller delivery, driven to mid-off, where Sher fields another single. And the point Andy was making is a very valid one about perhaps the number of runs that could have been turned into 2s for the Bears when they were batting. So this is a nice lesson. They're running quickly between the wickets, this pair. Very busy indeed. It's just got a different feel to it, at the moment anyway. This one is clubbed over deep backward square leg. And that's gone all the way, I think, for 6.
Oh.
Bouncing just inside the rope. It was a bit of a swish, really, a swat. Maybe even a touch of top edge in that one. And it's absolutely flown. But as you say, very few fielders out because of the fielding restrictions. But the Bears actually don't seem to want to make the most of those restrictions. But again, there's nothing really you can do with a shot like that.
No, and he's got to straight with his line there. He's looking to, with his left arm over, he's looking to aim at that sort of 4th, 5th stump area, and I think that was quite clearly.
Well, Aslam's already 19 off 11. Yep. That one's wider.
That's the line.
chopped into the offside, shy at the stumps. Oh, good backing up though from the Bears, as you'd expect. Again, they get through for a single though.
Yep.
They really get through quickly. That's a lesson there for anyone watching on how to run as an opening pair.
Something we've stressed as well over the winter, and knowing that the Danes, along with Norway, were going to be coming, is something that the Danes have always done well, and something that we've tried to embed into the mindsets of the guys. But as you can see, it's something that is not quite there. Obviously, some debutants here out here today, so that's not a sweeping statement, but
Chipped into the onside would have interested a nice regulation mid-wicket fielder, but the man on that side is posted out of the ring, so it's a single again. Yeah, his line's not quite right, going left arm over. Most of these are being played into the onside.
yeah.
That is a nice shot. That one is not the onside, that is the offside. Sher is chasing, and that's some poor fielding, frankly. The dive should have come out as it was. He just stuck out a hand and rather embarrassed himself there. 4 runs that perhaps should not have been.
Yep.
Apology to the bowler. And end of the over.
Now 2, probably more like it. That's
Very useful over for Denmark, that one. 14 coming from it. Their run rate's already well above the required rate. So they've made a flying start, 35 without loss after 4. The Bears were 13 for 1 after 4. We're going to have a change at the other end. So the debutant Kabir has come off after a couple.
it's Parveen Kumar, I think, is going to take the 5th over. Right arm, medium.
That one's driven nicely over extra cover, just chipped really into the vacant space there. It should run away for 4. Although no, it has held up the hill there.
Just bowling in the slot again, which is not where he wants to be bowling at this moment in the power play.
Another 2 though. And at the moment they look very comfortable for chasing this down, but a lot can happen, of course. A slew of wickets might alter that dramatically. That one's a better ball. Straighter, fuller. But even so, they still managed to get a single. And that's, I think, where the difference can be. When a good ball is bowled, you manage to dig out a single from somewhere.
Yeah, perhaps, you know, as we said, I think a couple of overs back with Nathan Collins here on the ring, and the ball just hit over him. And
again, another one, a mistimed shot into the onside, but they've got a single easily from it. So it's just that awareness and speed of thought drumming into you. You know, you've got to want to take the run every single ball, no matter what.
absolutely.
This one's up in the air, but it's over the ring and over the head of Dandapani, who's chasing now. Manages to pull it back. He's got to put the brakes on. Sends it back to a colleague who sends the ball back in, and they take up another 2.
Yep. 16 Mohan then just coming up there to support. If Dandapani perhaps could have even flicked it back earlier. He decided to keep hold of it and then pass it to Mohan. But, they didn't take an extra run, so that's okay.
Kumar full again, just turned into the onside. And again, not trying to hit it too hard, but just giving it enough pace to allow it the time to take a run from. That's just canny batting. The man is right on the ring there.
Yep.
If you smack that and smoke that straight to the fielder, there's no run, but a little push can get you a single. So they're going along very nicely, this pair indeed. Again, just waiting, looking for a gap. This time doesn't find it. And there is no run. But
yeah, you can see
43 for no wicket after 5, Andy.
See the difference between the two, the batting sides, and anything's a single at the moment, isn't it? Unless it's, as you said, drilled straight at a fielder in the inner circle. Some good running between the wickets. And and the end result of that is a run rate at the moment of 8.6, which means that off the last 15, the run rate has come down. The run rate required to just marginally above 7. I think one of the things that we've said about this series is it's with the Danish A side coming over, so we've got a few new players in here that some of which aren't going to be eligible for the World Cup qualifiers in August, and some of which are just on the fringe at the moment. So this is an interesting sort of period of the game here to see how the new players adapt to playing international cricket and watching the more experienced Danes, how they're going about their game. Is it Sher that'll come on?
Yeah, Amjad Sher, the captain, finally gets the ball in his hand and starts with a dot ball. But of course, Denmark themselves as a nation in a somewhat of a rebuilding process. I mean, longer, obviously, than Finland, but they have a very long and proud tradition of cricket in that country. A very strong side at one time, weren't they? Couple of decades ago. And they just didn't quite manage to continue or maintain the strength that they had some time ago, a bit like the Netherlands, who are, of course, playing in the T20 World Cup at the moment. But Denmark had, you know, a few first-class players who played first-class cricket in England, one of whom, Freddie Clocker, is the team manager for the Danes here in Finland. We'll be hearing from him during the next match, which is Finland against Norway. He's a guy who played for Warwickshire and Derbyshire in England and has a chance here of a poor run out. And it could be overthrows, buzzers here. That's a bit messy, I'm afraid. Kind of wrong-footed the wicket keeper.
And the wrong end as well.
Yeah, and what should have been a single is ended up turning into 3.
Danish batter hesitating there for the first run. The throw quite clearly should have come to the bowler's end. It didn't. And 3 was the result, as you said. Yeah, a bit sloppy.
So just to give you a little advance advert for that, Freddie Clocker, the Danish team manager, will be with us for the Finland-Norway game, at least some of it. Man, he's got a Champions Trophy century to his name, I believe.
A few centuries where they were.
Well, I
have to look that one up.
Scored a century against the United States, that much I remember.
Okay.
Once described as the best wicket-keeper batsman in Europe, without obviously including Britain and Ireland in that.
Mainland Europe, would you call that then?
Yes. But a very, very, very handy player and a terrific guy as well. So we look forward to having him in the box with us later on. This one's big. It's gone over the top. There's a fielder interested. It's Kumar. Can he take it? He does take an excellent running catch. That really is a terrific catch. That should give the Bears a real boost. And Sher picks up the first wicket. He kind of got a hold of it, but it skied a little bit. And Kumar had at least 15 metres to make up to his right. And he showed good pace to get there and good balance and stability to take the catch and stay on his feet. And the Bears strike. Denmark lose their first wicket, albeit after 47 runs have been scored and in the 6th. But that should give them a boost. The man Aslam has gone 29 off 20. Terrific innings from him. Really, really impressive. Opening partnership with Turner. He's looking a bit fed up with himself, but he's done a good job. Caught by Kumar off the bowling of Sher for 29. And now's the time the Bears have really got to stamp their authority. They need a couple more in quick succession, but that'll give them a boost. There's a few boundaries fumbled by the Danes during the Bears innings. And there was a little mix-up in the field a couple of balls ago, but that one from Kumar, well, that might have made the heads drop even more had he made a fluff of it, but actually he did extremely well. New batter is Mahmood. Sher with 1 ball left in this over. And he bowls one short of a length, gets up, climbs on the bowler, on the batter, wraps him on the knuckles. They still managed to sneak through for a single, though. And they end that over, 48 for 1 after 6. the Bears were 22 for 2 after 6. And just a comment, Andy, you can tell us a little more about this. Amjad Sher, just watching him this season. I played a lot with him in the past. And one thing I notice is his action a little bit now. He very much had a habit of sort of veering away in his delivery stride and taking a little bit of the natural pace off it. But he seems to be going through a lot straighter now. Something that you've been working on with him?
Yeah, bowling coach Gerard Brady in particular have been working on that with him in the winter. And I was just about to comment earlier, I think still, just as an observation from the box here, I think still not quite coming through the creases as rapidly as we'd like. Just sort of a little bit of a weight transfer as he's through the crease. Backwards rather than forwards, that is. Taking a little bit of the pace off. But yeah, that's something that he's worked on and adjusted. As we see a new...
Hasnat into the attack. First ball is going to be clipped away for a single.
That's another debutant today, bowling his leg spin.
Yeah, we'll come back to the issue of Sher when he's bowling his next over. But it's an interesting point of... it's a bowler I've watched an awful lot of. Here's Hasnat then, 26 on his back. Bowling a bit of wrist spin. That one's called a wide. It started very wide and kept on going with the wrist.
Yeah, I was just about to say a better length than the previous ball, but radar was off.
And again, an attempted reverse sweep here, and stumping appeal. He's well home though, by the looks of things. But good work from the keeper, it doesn't hurt. Keep them on their toes a bit. Turner looks a very busy cricketer, kept wicket for the Danes, very quick between the wickets, opening the batting here. Looks a very tidy player. This one he's just driving but mistiming to Collins at extra cover. If you weren't with us for the start, we had a nice little ceremony before the match, a guard of honour given to Nathan Collins by both the teams who raised their bats as he walked it out to bat for the final time for the Bears, having announced his retirement from the international game as he takes that next drive at extra cover. So a nice little moment that was, and we also noticed that he also passed 1,000 runs when he made his 37 earlier on in the game. 1,000 runs in international cricket since 2016 for Nathan Collins. It'll be a while until that is bettered, that's for sure. All he needs now is a nice, one of those trademark flying catches in the covers.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Sign off in style.
Hasn't just struggling for a bit of consistency here. He fields off his own bowling well. It's not been a bad over. Wide off the second, but he'll take a lot of heart from that then. Just going for 3. And Denmark becalmed somewhat, 51 for 1 after 7. The Bears 27 for 3 they were, so they're well ahead of the game, Denmark A.
And we won't be talking about Amjad Sher, who's not going to take a second over. It'll be Dandapani bowling change from the residential end.
Okay,
bowling leggies since this winter.
Yeah, quite different though to Hasnat, much taller man. So he'll come from a bigger height. Let's see how he gets on here. That one is swatted into the onside. He fields himself, Dandapani. But again, they take a single. Running between the wickets has been exemplary from the Danish side so far. Dandapani with that trademark smile, is always smiling. A lovely man. As he comes in, gives that a bit of height and gets a little bit of bounce on it as well. But Mahmood is back in his crease and just prodding it into the onside for a single. Well, they know what they've got to do, Denmark, and they're doing it perfectly at the moment. We haven't seen any attempts at huge shots. They don't need to. Now we've had one boundary, Andy,
Mm.
which was a misfield, or a non-field, should I say, from the captain Sher.
Yep.
Apart from that, they haven't needed to, and they're already raced to 54 for 1.
Yep.
Just shows you that lots of different ways to skin a cat in this T20 game.
Certainly are. It's one of the things that we've been pushing home with the squad over the winter. And it's not all about 6s and 4s. It's about accumulation as well. You know, playing the situation.
Wide from that last one from Dandapani. This one is again a clubbed attempt by Turner to get the ball away, but he can't manage to. I mean, you know, you forget, don't you? A T20 match, 120 deliveries, 120 singles. You've already got the makings of a good total there. So,
Yep.
you know, dot balls are your enemy. I don't know how many have been so far in this innings, but not many. I should get the scorecard up and have a look, but there have been very few dot balls in this Danish reply so far, which is, again, a lesson for any team watching. It's a good over so far from Dandapani, really. The two leggies have just becalmed things somewhat. You get the feeling Mahmood's itching to go big. When will he choose to do so? Oh, and he edges that one, and it just falls short of the man. Oh, it could be a run-out chance. Good, smart work in the field by Kabir, is that? Yeah, it was. The young quick. It just fell short of him, though. It wasn't a chance by any means, but he did well with the gather and the throw back. And Mahmood, who looked a little itchy there, got himself home okay. And he'll take strike for the next over. So after 8 overs then. Denmark 57 for 1, well ahead of the rate. Finnish Bears after 8 were 35 for 3. It was about the halfway mark the Bears started putting their foot down a bit. As Mahmood does pick up yet another single off Hasnat, who's into his second. The young leggy. I say young, he's 32. Young by my standards.
Our standards.
That one's up in the air. Now, this could interest the man at long off, and it does interest him an awful lot. He takes the catch, and
skipper out there.
He's got a wicket, Hasnat, on his debut. Amjad Sher takes the catch, and two very, very good, clean catches from the Bears fielders in those deep, straight positions. And Turner, who's been going along really nicely, you'll get the feeling he didn't really need to do that, but he's got himself stuck a bit, and trying to get him out of that rut, he's just looped one up to Sher, and the second wicket falls, 58 for 2. Turner's gone for 18.
Rudimentary maths from me from the scorecard says 16 dot balls so far.
Okay, it's a little more than I thought, but still not too bad. A lot of those have come in the last 2 or 3 overs, I would say.
I was just about to say again, you know, you're seeing the change in tempo, a bit of pressure back on with a few more dot balls in the last few overs. The leggies, as you said, have put it there and thereabouts most of the time. The odd wide, just.
Well done, Mohammed Hasnat. His account is open for the Finnish Bears. Debutant today. He's got a wicket, full toss.
Gets away with a full toss as well.
It's rather tempting for the new, but the new batter has decided this is Mahmood M as opposed to Mahmood R, who's at the other end, who decided he'll just not take any risks. This one, though, he does drive nicely through extra cover. They're going to push for 2.
Musa Mahmood.
Pavan comes in, slips, and that easily allows them to get 2. That could be an issue of footwear out there.
I was just about to say another change of footwear needed, I think, by the looks of it. Yeah, number 90, Musa Mahmood, plays his cricket back in Denmark at Svanholm. Probably the most well-known of grounds in Denmark.
That's a nice shot.
Anybody watching from Denmark, don't mind me saying. the ground that we visited the most, however. So, although I have to say the wonderful ground at Glostrup last year, that was my first time at Glostrup. Lovely, lovely ground.
Yeah, they're blessed with some nice,
And the
fine
talking about
facilities.
beforehand.
Oh, there could be a chance here of a run out. The batter has gone miles out of his crease and he's sent back by the non-striker. He's home, but a little bit of, for the first time really, there's been a bit of a mix-up between the batters. The running has been so good, but the two Mahmoods meet in the middle at the end of that over just to have a little discussion and perhaps calm things down again. First real scare for them. They lost a couple of wickets, but it's 61 for 2 after 9. They are well ahead of the rate. 149 the target, don't forget.
No, I was just saying the two grounds that we played at in the T20 Nordic Cup series last year in Denmark. Both at Svanholm and at Glostrup, and Glostrup's a lovely park type ground. My first visit there last year. Lovely location, and the location of the final match that Finland played in Copenhagen then last summer.
Dandapani's first ball is pushed into the onside for a single. He goes chasing after it himself to field. Ends up slipping over and not fielding the ball at all.
Yep.
They go through for a single, Denmark. Very noticeable, this tactic of just hitting the gaps and picking up the runs, Denmark. It really is good.
Yep. It's pretty much anything other than straight at the field, isn't it? They've taken all of those.
They're not trying to clobber it everywhere.
I think, conservatively speaking, I think we were trying to sort of count at the end of the Finland's innings, weren't we? Somewhere in between 10 and 15, perhaps. Could have added to the score for the number of times that the 2 wasn't taken and turning blind and running through the crease rather than coming back for the quick second.
Yeah, these little things you'll look at and analyse afterwards. Dandapani tries to get a foot to that one again, just picking up a nice single up to long on, all the time in the world to jog through. So they're making things look very easy at the moment, the Danish A batters. But a few wickets could change things.
Yeah, I was going to say, saying that, you know, they've managed to drag the run rate down back to below 7, which means that the run rate required is scraped above 8. Not to say that's a massive difference at the moment, but a cumulative effect.
Excellent
they keep
fielding.
doing the same. It's fielding from Faraz, I think. Yeah, Abbas out there on the sweeper, cover sweeper.
He got to the ball very quickly and got a good throw back in, keeping it just to a single.
Yep.
Yeah, these two leggies have done well. These middle overs so far. That one's given some air and a little step down the crease turns it into a full toss. This is racing up to long.
Oh, he's managed to stop it.
And some excellent fielding on the boundary edge, but I didn't realise he obviously must have been very wide, the fielder there, because he had a lot of ground to make up, which allowed them to.
Yep, Arib Kadir hit long on, just on the rope.
That one's dragged down, and that's going to be a help yourself 4, I'm afraid. That really was just a long hop, and it was swatted into the onside where there are very few fielders on that square boundary.
His leggy partner Hasnat, it was, I think, that didn't manage to get a hand on it.
That's a shame. That ended what was a fairly decent over up until that point. And it means that that over went for 10.
Just as we mentioned.
Yep, having done well. 4 singles, then 2 and a 4. 71 for 2 at the halfway stage after 10. And after the halfway point of the Bears innings, they were 43 for 3. So quite a lot ahead of the rate.
Ebbs and flows of a T20 game, isn't it? It's interesting to see now the comparison with the second 10.
Yeah, well, just what's interesting, I'll come on to that in a minute, as Hasnat is going to continue. That one, again, just pushed up for a single. Very easily. Hasnat into his 3rd. So, you know, each over from the Danes, first went for 5, second for 10, 3rd for 6, 4th for 14. So, you know, they've been getting good numbers off each over. It's not like they've had 2 or 3 huge overs and nothing in between. It's been consistent.
Yep.
And there again, just a quick single, knowing the man is right on the edge of the inner ring, and a little dab into the offside is going to give you time for an easy single.
Yep.
This is when the ground seems huge as a fielding side, doesn't it? Once more, it's just help yourself. It's nudge it into the gap and walk through for a single. Not that I'd ever advocate walking through for a single, but at the moment it's looking very relaxed for the Denmark A side, 74 for 2.
Same again, rinse and repeat.
You know, at this rate, they're going to get home with plenty of overs to spare, but we're not calling it yet, as this one is an attempted catch at mid-wicket. It just fell short of him though, and the diving attempt to stop it didn't come off, but not putting it down as a chance. But guess what, it's another single. Mahmood on 13, Mahmood M, this is, picking up another one. It feels like a training match almost in a way, doesn't it? Just with the ease that they're going about things at the moment. But, you know, this is something that the Bears will learn from.
Yeah, I think the most critical thing out of all of this this weekend, when the Danes decided that they were going to send an A side rather than their official team, was that you know, we make the most of it, mix the team as much as we could to give some extra experience that obviously in certain cases we wouldn't have been able to do if there'd all been official T20I matches this weekend. And as you said, you know, part of the learning curve for existing as well as new squad players.
But, you know, it's worth bearing in mind, that's a absolutely filthy ball, that is. It's gone for 4. Quite deservedly, really filthy ball. He just had to help it on its way. There's no fielder out on that deep square leg boundary, so he could pick his spot, really. But it's worth noting, you know, Denmark have a much, much bigger pool and depth in terms of cricket than Finland do.
Yep, history as well.
Yep.
So
this is all part of a learning curve for the bigger picture. This one is a foot-planted swipe, which goes out to extra cover. Will get them a single. Fairly safe shot, though, despite the lack of elegance about it. I mean, they are just picking off singles at will at the moment. And sometimes it's hard to know what to do as a fielding side. There we go. This could pick up more than a single.
Nobody down there.
Little sweep, fine.
Go all the way, I think.
I think that's going to run away. Although, no, it has gone all the way. Attempted dual relay fielding effort, which doesn't come off, and it's another 4. But again, that's just smart cricket. Nobody in that position. Paddle it round the corner. I'm getting myself at least 2. And they're making it look very easy at the moment. Denmark A, 83 for 2 in the 12th. I think we'll probably see an end to the leg spin in tandem after this over.
Yep.
They need some wickets. Oh, that's horrible too. That's actually called a no ball because I think it's off the pitch.
Free hit then, isn't it? All no balls are.
I believe it is, yeah, there's the signal.
Yep. Oh, the wheels have come off since you complimented him, isn't it?
Well, it's always the way. There he goes. Up towards deep mid-wicket. Could have been a chance, not that it would have counted, but
I was just
good.
about to say, then hopefully he doesn't make a diving effort to try and catch that and avoid fielding it. Fortunately, he didn't. Fortunately for Finland, that is. Pavan is out there, the debutant.
As often happens, the free hit is a complete anti-climax.
Another single.
But another single.
Yeah.
And there'll be another single here.
Yeah.
Pick your spot. Put the ball there. Go through for a single. End of the over then. And Denmark making light work of this at the moment. Still some way to go. Another 50 or so. 60 or so. To get 90 for 2 after 12 overs. This was the point when the Bears really started to accelerate. They were 59 for 3 though, compared to 90 for 2 after 12 overs. So you can see the difference in that. They're 30 runs ahead of Finland at this stage, although Finland kept on accelerating as they went.
Yeah, critical few overs coming up here if Finland can manage to put the brakes on.
It is not the end of the leg spin partnership, as Hasnat gets his 4th and final over underway with a dot ball, I'm happy to report. Oh, good for him though. He's given him some valuable experience here. 4 on the trot. That's a nice shot. Again, nobody here at fine leg, so he's just helped that on its way. It won't run all the way, but they're going to pick up 2. Slightly wayward return, but the batters decide they've had enough with 2.
Don't promise any interviews after the match because we don't have the preparation.
And Hasnat. Oh, that could be a chance. Little tickle around the corner. Scamans, the keeper, is absolutely convinced the umpires are going to have a little conflab here. Did he get something on that? Whose call is that, really? Yeah.
One of these, I think.
Yeah. Andy,
which we haven't got.
making the sign of a TV screen, but I'm not sure they can. I'm not sure how a square leg umpire can give that decision.
I'm just wondering whether he was asking whether the ball was down or not. So the only thing I can think he could be thinking of from that position.
Oh, he's given out.
He has. Yeah, there we go.
Much to the distress of Mahmood R, who throws his head up in the air, and he's now going to go and have a word with the umpire and ask why. And is promptly walking off. So, 3rd wicket down, and as we said, the Bears needed wickets. The vital period coming up. Could that be the start of it, for them dragging this back?
Keeper was certainly sure about it, wasn't he?
Scamans was, yeah. He was convinced. Not quite sure what that conversation would have been between umpires, because he took it quite high, I think, the keeper, so I don't think there was an issue of grounding, but he's wandering off straight back to the dressing rooms in disgust, is Mahmood. He's not gone over to the tent.
Which he should.
Anyway, Malik's at the crease, 3 down, 92 for 3. We're in the 13th. Sun comes out again. And well done to Hasnat. Picked up a couple on his debut. 2 for 15 in his 4th. That's a great effort, really. First over, he took a little while just to settle down to a rhythm, but he's got into it since, and he's done his team proud here. Left-hander now at the crease, Malik. Oof, that one bounces on him, and he just tried to nurdle it really, or guide it behind square on the offside, and it ballooned up a little bit, and for a moment Dandapani thought that might head towards his grateful hands, but in the end it fell short. This one though, he's just managed to squeeze very fine on the offside. Dandapani with a bit of, I will say, ugly footwork, stops the ball. But it's yet another single, 93 for 3. Slight field change for the right-hander, Mahmood, who's on 20 off 14. Whoosh. And I say some footwork, a lot of good footwork there from Hasnat, not entirely intended, as it ballooned up off his foot into the hands of Collins. The over ends, and a very good debut spell for Hasnat. 4 overs, 2 for 17. So well done him. Denmark still in control. There we go, 2 for 16. No, 2 for 17. That should be.
Yeah, it's
He
3.5
completed the
still there.
over. Yeah,
It's the last ball missing.
well done him. That'll do him his confidence a world of good.
Sher it'll be to continue.
Coming for his second over, 94 for 3. Scorecard's a little slow. But 56 off 7 needed. Run rate exactly 8. The required run rate, their current rate just over 7, so things have slowed. A couple of wickets now could make things very interesting. Indeed, the skipper, Sher, is back. To the left-handed Malik.
Oh.
He just helps that on its way into the onside for another single.
I think we were looking at Amjad's bowling before in the comments that you were making. I think just picking up again from that one, just a sort of slight, what you describe it as really, is sort of a hesitant movement as he comes through the crease. He just can't help but think that there's still more to come, just more of that.
Yeah, it's
speed through the crease that he gathers from the run-up, and we've managed to sort of iron out the veering to off, as you mentioned earlier. But just there, it's
he's got
just a little hesitation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just something that just
he's got very good natural pace, and he's a very strong guy. But you get the impression that he loses a bit of momentum when he gets there, because he sort of jumps away a little bit, and that movement then sort of generates back. It's very hard to change anybody's action at any stage. I mean, not asking for a major dramatic, but even a small tweak like that is very tough to
just
make.
that weight transfer. It's a marginal thing, you know. There's just the last few strides in the approach, just the weight going backwards rather than forwards, as you'd like to see from anybody that's bowling medium and up.
Well, the one thing is that it's all arm speed, isn't it? And you feel if you could actually add a little bit of oomph from body momentum, it's going to make him much better.
Exactly.
But, you know, it didn't.
Well fielded. I was about to say he gets past the field, we're looking for 2, but no, it's well fielded. That's stopped. Just got a hand on it.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to, you know, what to do sometimes. But he is one of those very arm-led actions, and you know, like the great Wasim Akram was just twirling arm, wasn't he? Speed and twirling arm, but it's almost like there's a hesitation in that stride, isn't there?
Yeah, we did a bit of video analysis over the winter as well, which, as you said earlier, you know, there's only so much you can do in the off-season with somebody's action that has been the same way for such a long while. So there has been some visible change in the approach and the delivery stride, but I think again that's something that they'll still need to keep working on, getting that weight through the crease, getting the momentum through the crease.
But whatever you do with a bowler like that, I mean, he very much relies on swing.
Yep.
And you don't want to do anything that's going to negate that swing.
No, exactly.
At all. So you've got to be careful with these tinkerings. But anyway, end of the over, 5 singles and a dot coming from it. Denmark at the end of the 14th, 98 to 3 only.
In comparison to the 14th of the Finns, the gap has just been
end of the
reduced.
14th, 78 for 4 as opposed to 98 for 3. So yeah, although the next over for the Bears went for 13.
Okay. A tight one here.
So tight one here, then they
Kabir,
could drag
coming back on.
Drag things back a little bit. So we could yet be in for a tight finish here at the Caravan National Cricket Ground. This will be interesting now. Kabir bowling to the left-hander. The man quite fine at third man. And he's got a guy out currently at deep extra cover, which is oh no, he's just moving towards long off, very wide long off. I was going to say it was a strange position. He's got a man at deep mid-wicket as well. and deep backward square leg. First one is a wide.
Can't afford those. Got to make sure he gets his radar on straight off.
Yeah, it was pacey, but wide. Well, they're in control, Denmark. This is the moment you feel that Finland can wrestle back some control. A couple of wickets here.
That's what they need to do.
Kabir, very, very quick arm action. Nicely played, though. Just pushed into the offside. Slight stumble. They're going to come back for a second. No, they're not. They decided against that. Probably quite wisely. Some nice work again out there by Abbas, who's impressed out there in the field, in the deep. As I say that, he's coming into the ring now for the right-hander. Backward square leg. Kabir will revert to over the wicket. Interests me, you see, there, that wide that he bowled was to the left-hander. And it's almost like, I'm not saying it's the case, but often there's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, isn't there? As a left-hander, must go around the wicket.
Yep.
But often that means you've got to alter your own line. So, you know, I'd like to see a lot more bowlers go over the wicket to left-handers than do, because often you find it's just a bit of a knee-jerk thing, and it can do more harm than good, although he's back out around the wicket.
I thought he just paddled it then to the fielder, but no. Arvind Kumar there, just at backward square.
You know, I'd like to see the third man a little finer, perhaps, and then come over the wicket and just say to him, all right, well, you slanted across you. You play...
Got the pace for it as well to do that.
Yeah, you try and play it into the covers, but, you know, next thing you know, a nice little nick behind to the keeper. Oh, he's bowled him. Superb middle stump, looks like.
First wicket for the young man.
Very good. So, two debutants have got themselves on the score sheet in terms of wickets, and he'll be delighted with that. And that was a rapid ball. He played all around it, did Mahmood, but he's done a good job for his team. 23 off 20.
Just about to say it'd be good to look at the replay on that one, but I forgot that we haven't got replays.
Yeah, nice. The reason I said middle stump was because it's the only one that wasn't flashing, but then that's probably just a visual illusion. Whatever it was a good delivery, skiddy, quick.
The mid stump is just wood. It's not.
Ah, there we go. The middle stump is only wood, so it doesn't zing or.
That explains it then. I thought it was just your eyesight.
I'm calling it middle stump from here. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, that's made things interesting. Fourth wicket down, 102 for 4, so the 100 is up, but there is a sniff of a chance here. Denmark still very much in control. New batter is Aftab.
Finland will be looking to just take another one here.
Yeah. Two newish batters at the crease. Oh, that one beats him all ends up. He gets in a tangle then. It's a dot ball.
Just that little bit of extra pace that, you know, that as I mentioned earlier, we've had this young man in the squad of the winter. And
have you clocked him?
No, we haven't actually. We did a little bit of video analysis earlier in the winter, including some of the speeds, but no, we haven't done that with Kabir. To the eye, when it gets it there, it's probably approaching 80s miles. That is.
Yeah. Bustling, swift. Oh, this it was a drive, and again I thought Collins there at extra cover was going to be interested. One of those trademark diving catches we mentioned early, but it was just too far away from him. There could be a run out though here. No.
What did he do?
Oh, what's happened? Yeah.
I thought it looked from the throw that he was going to be well short of his ground, and it was almost like he didn't even try and run him out. Maybe another optical illusion for us.
Yeah, our perspective is odd. We're not right behind the arm here. The TV pictures or the stream is slightly behind. So anyway,
that one just
all is safe for Denmark at least. 105 for 4 then. after 15. Finland were 91 for 2, so, sorry, 91 for 5, so they've certainly pulled it back. That deficit was around the 30 mark at the halfway stage. Now they've dragged it back a bit, and a wicket here from Sher would do them the world of good as he goes into his third over now. That's just ballooned into the onside for a single from Aftab. The thing they've got to contend with now, the Bears, is not to switch off with this change of batters, left hand and right hand.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that on the YouTube feed, the last ball of the previous over. I still can't quite figure. It certainly looks as though maybe, yeah, the throw just not quite into the hands of the fielder.
Sher, he's having a go at this one. And it's coming up to the long on fielder. They're going to come back for a second. They're going to have to hurry. They do. The throw's a little wayward anyway, so.
Yeah, I think on that last ball of the previous over, we just from the angle that we've got here, then the throw didn't quite come. I think a direct throw to the fielder, and it would have been clearly run out. But Arib Kadir then just not able to gather it and having to move that critical 30-40 centimetres to left behind the stumps, not able to execute the run out.
Sher to Malik, who has a
interesting.
A reverse swipe at that one. It was a bit messy, all told, but you know, they don't need to do things like that at the moment, Denmark.
No.
They really are still in control. Required rate now up to 9. However, they've just got to keep doing what they were doing, you suspect.
And Finland just need to keep taking wickets.
Well, he does take that single sensibly by just nudging it behind square on the offside and bringing Aftab back onto strike. It's a lovely early afternoon here at Kerava. Another match coming up. Don't forget at 2 o'clock. Finland in action again against Norway. Oh, this is a ugly shot, but he's going to get 4 from it. He actually timed it beautifully. He was down on one knee and sort of half paddle, half sweep, half swat. But he's got himself 4 runs. So a little bit of innovation, and that's taken some of the pressure off them now. Picking up that boundary. Collins, former skipper, having a word with the current incumbent, Amjad Sher, who's on his way to Aftab. He tries to just nurdle that one fine, but pace off ball beat him in the end, and the over ends with a dot ball. Denmark then 1-1-3 for 4, chasing 1-4-9. They're not in absolute walking territory yet. Finland after 16 were 98 for 5, so they are ahead of it by about 15 again.
Just that critical 4 boundary in that last over, wasn't it, really? You know, that only goes for a single, and again, it's another tight one. Just pressure slightly off. That.
It's one of those where you say it's Denmark's to lose, because they've been in control for so much of this innings, playing a very clear game plan. But Finland have a sniff.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Maybe saving Kabir for one of the last 2 if it goes down to that. So yeah, what we got, Kumar coming back on.
Oh, where's that gone?
Gone miles up in the air. There's shouts of catch it. Pavan's underneath it. And he's not got there. You felt he had all the time in the world to get. I think he was put off by the fielder running back towards him. Again, one of those little things where you know the guy coming in off the rope has got to be the man to call that one. And you would say
He's got to take that, hasn't he? He's got to make it.
That might have been a missed opportunity. He's just a little bit slow off the mark and getting put off by that fielder who's coming back towards him.
At the time it was up there, you know, it really went up, didn't it? It's not judging it. It's not. I don't think there's too much of a breeze to actually then put him off in terms of where the ball was coming down, but just that critical few metres that he was missing out on.
Well, Kumar really could have turned things there with that first ball of his return. There's a bit of a delay where everyone sort of resets now, and he's in again. He's down the wicket having a slash at this. He's going to get away with it, but he's not far away from that backward point fielder. He's picked up 4, which is helping them enormously.
Yep, not got a third man out there. I'm not quite sure I'd be having this fine leg in here, to be honest. It's, if he can keep his lines outside the off and then leave the third man back for the slash, it was always going to be the shot that he was going to look for, I think. Or if needs be, bring your fine leg up and put your third man out.
Well, Finland took 25 off overs 16 and 17. So, you know, if they can restrict the boundaries here, Finland are still very much in with a shout here, but they've got to stop those boundaries. He's gone over extra cover. This could be another one though, I'm afraid. He's really decided I'm going to go for this. He perhaps read the situation well and knows that if I can take a risk and get the odd boundary, that's going to keep us comfortably in front.
Yep, that critical catch, as we said earlier, it's...
I don't know about you, but I'd like to have seen, although it would have been his last one, Kabir take this over perhaps.
Keep the momentum.
Just to try and coax a wicket out, but easy to say in hindsight.
Yep. Scamans taking the lid, just trying to...
Going to stand up, is he?
Yep. Try and give the extra something to think about for the batter, as he's quite, as you said, quite clearly looking for that boundary. Better length.
Yeah, much better length, but again, he's going to pick up 2 easily here. And there's also a fumble.
Yeah.
Good throw in the end, but yeah, it's a wrestling back control. It's a bit like that arm wrestle. In control. Then you start to lose a little bit.
Yeah.
But then
those little 1%ers, isn't it?
It
is.
That's
one of the things that we've really been pushing the squad over the winter, and you know, the fumbles and the drop catches and all these, they all accumulate.
Well, I think the lesson is running between the wickets here and the finding of the gaps. Oof, full toss, club straight back.
It's better off bowling full toss. I think that's, you know, it's again looking at that, the seamers, you know, the low full toss tends to be better than, you know, the rank wide ball or the rank short ball, and invariably you've got your 2 men set back, you know, if they often the batter doesn't manage to get hold of that.
Well, Aftab's done a job here for his side. He's come in and just put the foot down a bit, a few rapid boundaries, and he's pulled Denmark away again. But Malik is the one on strike, and of the 2 you think he's perhaps the more likely, although he clips that beautifully off his toes. He's only going to get a single, or should only get a single.
Yeah, well fielded by Collier out there on the fine leg boundary to the left-hander. That's the over. 17th.
Yep, 17 gone.
126.
126.
The comparison again.
For 4, it was 110 for 5, the Bears. So you see, take those 2 boundaries out of that, and you're very, very close. It's just those 2 boundaries. Nonetheless, the Bears, 18th over, went for 19.
Yeah, so another tight one here. If they
yeah, this has got to be a tight over. They had an absolute storm at the end there. It was when Sher was having fun. 19 off the 18th over he took. So if the Bears could keep this down to 4 or 5 singles, still in with a shout. But Sher's going to finish off here.
What's he got? Long on, long off.
Which means they're going to have to use Kabir and And Kumar, you would suspect,
Yep.
unless they bring Pavan back with his left arms. To the left hand, that wouldn't be such a bad idea.
Yep.
Slower ball, dab down into the offside for a single.
It's just mentally speaking, the Danish batters know they can do that as well, can't they? You know, it's enough just to dab the single and wait for that boundary ball, which the Finnish bowlers then, you know, need to try and make sure that they don't give away. You know, it's cat and mouse again here, isn't it? Let's see another change of the field. What have we got? Long on, long off, cow corner.
Andy, don't whisper.
Well, it's good for to have a game where we still don't quite know where it's going to go going into the 18th over. The momentum, and it's very much with Denmark. They're very much favourites at the moment, in control. But as we say, this game can change rapidly. And here's Sher, as the man who hit 19 off the 18th over when the Bears were batting. If he could do a job with the ball of a similar magnitude, then he could drag his team back into this. Give
Saw him
himself,
coming. It was quite clearly.
Yep, this could be a man of the match over here. So well bowled.
The intent quite clear, I think, from the batters here. Sher can just. Oh, same again. Yep.
You know, you question the batting here a little bit. I mean, they've been so in control with the singles, and that's all they still need.
Yep.
So I think that's exactly what the batters might be discussing now. Malik might be just saying, you know, calm down a bit. We've taken loads of ones and twos. That's all we still need.
Can't see it from the angle here as well, but as we were saying about Sher, he's usually getting a bit of a way drift. And if he sees the batter coming at him like that, you know, just push it just a tad wider.
Well, that's gone. That's gone miles in the air. That's going to go all the way, I think, over into the trees and into the fence. It has. It's gone for a maximum, and that is the one thing that the Bears didn't need. He just got under that, and he helped it on its way. It was really terrifically timed, but you just feel that's probably the moment where it slipped away. But never mind. Still hope.
Just as I said, he needs to push him out wider, then puts one straighter, which is dispatched.
He's gone again, and he's gone over the header point. He's only going to get a single. They're going to come for two. Good throw.
Yep.
Going to get home for two. So that's 8 off 2 balls.
Sharper throw there would have seen him maybe short, but
yeah, it wasn't a bad. He got it back quickly, but it just didn't have the oomph on it.
No.
So did half the job really. 135 for 4 at the end of this over. The Bears were 123 for 5.
Yep.
Still a big over to come, the 18th. Slower ball. Appeal for LBW, and he's given. Sher does strike. 9 have come from the over so far, but he's picked up a crucial wicket with the final ball of that over. 18 have gone. 135 for 5. They're ahead of it, but as I said, the 18th over of the Bears innings went for 19. In fact, they plundered 25 off the last 2 overs. Now, of course, if Denmark do that, they're going to get there well ahead of the time, but still a lot, 25 off 2 overs. So with 5 down...
all in the 19th.
It is all in this. Sorry, yeah, I was selling you a false bill of goods throughout that, talking about the 18th, but it was the 19th that was the big over.
Yeah. I wonder whether they'll give this one to Kabir then.
Well, interesting, isn't it?
I know,
Kumar went for a couple
Yeah.
last over, so a decision is needed here.
I'd go to Kabir with on this one. Let's see what the skipper does. He's got to both control the runs and ideally nab another wicket here. And I think Kabir would be the man to do it. Does it look like? Yep.
I think it is. I'd say that was a good decision.
Yep.
Then he's got a choice of either Kumar or the left armour, Pavan. Karunaratne for the
It was
final over.
It was the right-hander that was out then the last week, wasn't it? So there's still the left. Yeah, the lefty's still still batting
on strike. Yeah.
And Kabir's still coming around the wicket to him, as you were saying earlier.
All right, the crucial 19th then, we're calling it. 14 to win for Denmark off 2 overs. Here he is then, the young Kabir. Quick, short, and through to the keeper. Dot ball. Terrific start.
Have that. So what's he got? He's got to the left-hander. Third man out. He's got his fine leg out. He's got a deep mid-wicket just forward a square. And cover sweeper.
No wides.
No, absolutely not. So we need to avoid now. It's another dot here makes it interesting.
Taking his time at the top of his mark, not a bad thing. Letting the batter wait. He's in now, that scuttling run as he accelerates to the wicket. Quick arm action, short, it's gone miles up in the air. This could be a chance. And I think he's taken a terrific catch out there on the deep. There were 2 fielders converging on it. Who's the man who's taken that? I think it's Kadir, Arib Kadir. Brilliant, brilliant catch. And that has given the Bears real opportunity now. That went miles in the air, and I thought it was going to be one of those difficult ones where it was you, me, you, me, you, me. And it was Kadir who must have called for it, and he's taken a great catch on the boundary. And Malik has gone for 12.
One of the squad keepers without the gloves out there. Saved hands. And as you said, Richard, just made the right amount of movement, as we had said in a couple of overs ago. You know, that one that didn't that didn't go to hand. That critical bit of movement then from the fielder out there in the deep. Lovely take. Catches with matches and all that. That's
well, we've seen a few fumbled on the boundary in this match today, but that was as good as it gets. It's really tough, and he's looking up towards the sun as well.
Yeah, excellent grab.
He had a guy to his right that potentially could have put him off, but I'm hoping that there was a really clear call, and it was, as you say, a keeper, so he should have good hands.
Yep.
But that was a real crunch take under pressure. Changing the field now. We've got another man at long. Oh no, sorry, at fine leg. Just changing position. Abbas has come down here. The new batter is Safi, looks like.
So it'll be 2 right-handers.
So two right-handers, both on 0. This is where it's won and lost, folks. The young Kabir making his debut, 22 years old, we think he is. And the first ball is defended into the offside for a single. The Bears will take that. 13 needed off 9.
Again, just that little dab, wasn't it? You know, just a little dab, just enough time to get down the other end for the single. Keep the scores ticking over. By the looks of
this is where
the cover point fielder Pavan rolling his arms over, so he looks like he's going to take the last one. Another one here, and this makes it all the more interesting.
Aftab facing his first ball, short, pulls it into the onside. They'll certainly get a first, but will they get a second? Ooh, no.
Could have been.
Could well have been, but there was some hesitation between them.
Hasn't, I think it was the fielder there, just some hesitation for him as well, which fortunately for Finland, then more hesitation for the batters as well as for the fielder, just the one.
12 off 8.
Just about to say the Finns on their last over didn't quite get as many as they would like to. Ooh, it's going to be just the one.
Yep, sensible stuff.
That picture in my mind of Amjad Sher hitting the ground a couple of times for those dot balls in the 20th over.
Yeah, all these coulda, woulda, shoulda. I think, you know, the Bears, we talked about, you know, missing out on quite a few occasions where ones could have been turned into 2s.
Yep.
And that's where it comes back to haunt you.
What would you give for another 10 runs now in the bag here?
Yep. Clubbed into the onside. It's over the head of the field. It's going to go to the boundary and under the rain covers, and that's a vital 4 runs for Denmark. At the end of that over, he just timed it really. It wasn't a full-blooded pull shot, but he just got enough on it. And in truth, it wasn't a terrible ball, but Kabir has unfortunately gone for a boundary at the end of that over, which means with 1 over remaining, they need 7 to win off 6 balls, 142 for 6.
Just wondered there whether he had that fielder out and then realised last minute that he didn't.
Yeah, field position and field changes are absolutely crucial at the back end. You've got to be right on it. It will be Pavan to bowl the final over. We're in for a thriller, at least. Gone down to the final over, which is excellent.
This game has taken the lid, so he'll be standing up.
And I have to tell you, when the Bears were 19 for 1 after 5 and 22 for 2 after 6, I didn't think we'd go this deep into the game.
Scores are tied, I think, aren't we? After 19th.
They are, absolutely. Well,
that.
look at that, fantastic. So after 19, the Bears were 142 for 5. Denmark the same, but with the loss of 1 further wicket. So it's a thriller.
So what would we give for a repeat of those dots that skipper Sher then faced in the 20th over of the Finnish innings?
Well, we've had 3 debutant bowlers today, and here's another one. And he's got a lot on his shoulders here, has Pavan. Karunaratne, let's see what he can do with his left armers. He'll be bowling to Safi, who's on 2. Here we go then, 7 off this final over needed. Big swing. Only going to get a single. Oh dear, no, we don't need that. No. Overthrows off broken stumps. 6 off 5.
Critical couple of balls coming up here. You know, if you can't help for feeling that, you know, Finland nick a wicket here. 7 down, number 9 coming in.
Well, yeah, I mean, a wicket, you know, that's a dot ball.
Yep.
Unless it's a run out, and they've already taken 3, of course, in which case... Here's Pavan. Big swing, up in the air. Now, this should be a chance,
Oh, it's going to come short.
It's going to fall short, though, and they're going to go for a second. That really a better throw would have been... Would have been close. Good running, though. You've got to say they really put the pressure on the fielder. And there's a lot of teams I know would have just been happy. Ball's gone up in the air, potential catch. They jog it thinking, oh, well, this could be curtains. But they pushed both of those 2. So that's a little bit of nous for you there.
Yeah, I thought he'd got hold of it. And it was coming straight down his throat, but it didn't. It just landed outside the inner circle.
4 to win. Big swing. This could go to the fielder. It's caught. Wicket is down.
There we go.
Wicket has fallen.
Never say never.
Crucially, it's also a dot ball. So they still need 4 runs off 3 balls.
7 down.
And 7 down. Well, this is great fun. And well done, Finland, making a game against... A game of it against, you know, what on paper might be a stronger side, who were cruising. But it just goes to show, doesn't it, that you can be well on top and stumble. So Denmark have got some talking to do as well afterwards. Perhaps here they were so in control.
That's number 25. That's the tall bowler, isn't it?
Sorensen, this will be.
Yep.
He's got long levers. But Finland can take a lot of heart from this. I think they've been pretty good in the field today. Some excellent performances from some debutant bowlers. So there's an awful lot of plus points for Finland, especially after last night's hammering at the hands of Norway, which would have hurt. Norway up again, folks, in 50 minutes, by the way. 4 needed. Big swing and a miss. Stumping opportunity. Dot ball.
Interesting. Is that the 4th delivery? Yep, it was a 2 to come.
That was the swish of a lower order batter. Four off 2.
The plot thickens.
It was pretty thick at the start of this over already. It's great. It's great to call it a tight match.
Yeah. Let's see, got long on out. Cow corners out. He's got a sweeper at cover. And long off. Let's see where this one's going.
So then, Pavan to Sorensen. He's had a big swing at that. He's only going to get a single though. Just hold on to it now. There's no one at the stumps. Single.
3 off the last. Ooh.
3 off the last.
Super over?
Are there super overs?
I believe so. I can't remember. Did
They'll
they
get their lunch.
They certainly are for the official T20 eyes, that's for sure.
They got Norway in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, they'll be happy about this, won't they, if it goes to super over. 3 needed. Now, what do you do as a skipper here?
Just bowl him. It's simple as that. Lunch is served.
Well, it would be a terrific victory for Finland if they are to pull this off. Here we go then, final ball. Short, big swing. This has gone out to the boundary. Now it's got to stop. Oh, he's hit it. He's hit it for 4. He's hit it for 4 to win the game for Denmark A.
Wow.
And there are Bears players on the floor. What a shot in the end. He just somehow managed to get those long levers on it, time it, and it went between 2 fielders on the deep onside boundary, and
Safi
Denmark A. Was it Safi?
Yep.
I beg your pardons. Denmark A win on the final ball, making 150 for 7, and there's, look, a lot of commiserations for Pavan, who feels like he's let his team down there, but he hasn't. He did all the hard work in that over. He took a crucial wicket, and look, you know, the guy had a swing at it. That's the way it goes, but he timed the pants off that, and wow. What a game, though, Andy Armitage we've seen. And disappointment for Finland, but there's a lot to be proud of there. They've taken Denmark A to the wire, to the very last ball. Now they've got to pick themselves up again and do it all once more in about 45 minutes against Norway. We will be back to give you full commentary on that match as well. Final thoughts, Andy?
Yeah, what can you say? It's as we said live, the last few overs, the critical comparisons to overs 16, 17, and 18 of the 2 innings, and as it's turned out, despite, as you said, the fantastic 5 first balls of his last over, you know, I can't help but think again the difference in that last over for the Danes that bowled it. Then Amjad Sher, again, as I mentioned earlier, those what was it, 3 dot balls I think in the 20th over, and that's again despite everything else that we've talked about being the difference. You know, at the end of the day, Amjad Sher just connects with 1 or 2 of those, and it's game over.
But it's always, I think, important in these things when you look back to not focus on that individual over, perhaps, but you could say, all right, look, let's look at the overs in the first 6 to 10.
I was thinking more along the lines of, you know, the 17, 18, 19, and then their last over only went for 6. It was really critical difference in terms of saying, you know, the Sher had the momentum with the bat, and he was really then flying at the time. You know, a couple of more boundaries that last over, and Denmark's looking at, you know, they've got 15 to get off the last rather than, what was it, 6, 7.
Yeah, but 6. You say, where did we lose that? You'll say, well, we just didn't get enough runs. And where didn't we get enough runs? Well, in all 20 overs. That's the bottom line in any game, isn't it, really? It's not just always 1 over. But listen... Between
10 and a dozen singles, that's what we said.
Yeah, that's about it,
additional runs,
I reckon. But anyway, listen, Finland, you know, they were under the cosh in that reply because Denmark were cruising at the halfway stage. They were so in control, it was untrue. But it can take a lot of heart from pulling that back and making it go to the final ball. So well done to both the teams. A terrific match to open us up today's action here at the Triangular Nordic Cup. Next up, as I say, 2 o'clock here at the Caravan National Cricket Ground. In about 45 minutes time or so, Finland will be doing it all again against Norway and trying to avenge that crushing defeat they suffered by, 97 runs it was last night.
Next up for us is a Claire Jones special lunch.
Indeed. Well, we'll join you there.
Join
Thanks
me
for your
for one.
company. We'll
Thank you.
speak to you in about 45 minutes' time. Goodbye for now.